30 seconds and counting.
There were plenty of years where there were guys who would dread being drafted by the Buffalo Bills. Not anymore.
Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds.
Brandon Beane realizes they're in a window of 2 to 3 years max to get this done while the iron's still hot. And getting Von Miller into that situation was big for the Bills.
10, 9.
Oh, baby.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Great interview, guys.
What is up, Buffalo Fanatics? Z-Bot here with you, live on the Buffalo Fanatics YouTube channel for a little, wait for it, dun, 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 a little Monday Night Football. And as you can see, I wore black because I'm dressed for the occasion. The funeral of the Miami Dolphins is tonight, Monday, November 11th, as they take on the LA Rams, and the game is already off, and it's not looking good right now for me in terms of predicting the funeral. Dolphins are moving down the field. It is the smoke break, by the way, on the Buffalo Fanatics YouTube channel, powered by BetUS, and we are watching in real time, in live time, these Dolphins and these Rams go head-to-head this evening. Jalen Waddle, who did absolutely nothing a week ago against the Buffalo Bills, has now, in this first drive, already surpassed the yardage total I believe he had against the Bills the entire game last week. He's got 2 huge catches to begin the ball game here. 2 huge catches. So I put this Diet Coke in the freezer before I started here. By the way, they're touchdown Dolphins. Wow. The music of the intro music isn't even done playing, and these Dolphins are already in the damn end zone. Hey, McVay, do you got the boys ready to go or not? What the hell? Here I am getting ready to, eulogize the Dolphins. I'm wearing my black. I'm getting ready to eulogize the Dolphins, and before I can finish the intro, these sons of guns are in the damn end zone. So we had, I think that was a 4-play drive for the Dolphins, and just like that, it's 7-0. Couple of huge catches from Jalen Waddle, wide open. I mean, my God, I could have caught those balls. And before the 12-minute mark even comes around in the first quarter of this ball game, the Dolphins are in the end zone. It makes you wonder. It genuinely makes you wonder. And you know where my thoughts are on how I feel about these Dolphins. It does make you wonder what it would have been like this year if Tua was healthy. It's hard to imagine that they wouldn't have been fighting for a playoff spot, because you know how I feel about them. When the big moments occur, they fade. But they were good enough. They are good enough with a healthy Tua to fight for a playoff spot. They've been like that pretty much since he's been around. So it makes you wonder, because they're not a 2-win bad team like the current record reflects. They lost every single game without Tua. They didn't win a single one. They didn't look great before he got hurt, by the way. But they certainly were good enough to vie for a playoff spot currently in an AFC that it's a mess at the midway point. When you look at the current standings right now, it is a mess in the AFC. Right now, as it stands, you'd have the Chargers and the Broncos, I believe, occupying the final 2 spots. And then outside of that, you have the Colts, who the Bills just roughed up, and the Bengals on the outside looking in. Now, if I were to put my money on it, I think the Bengals are the ones that wind up with that last spot there. But it'll be interesting to see who ends up doing it. My point is that if it were to have came down to a healthy Dolphins team in this 2024 season, there's no way I think that they're not right there, because I think that they could have gotten 5 wins, which the Denver Broncos currently have. That is now allowed them the 7 spot heading into week 11. I think that that's going to fall out of their grasp. I can't help but think the Bengals are going to pass them. We'll see what ends up happening. But the Denver Broncos right now would occupy that 7 seed at 5-5. I think the Dolphins would have been right there, which is more than the Jets can say, because the Jets don't have that excuse. At least the Dolphins have an excuse. Because I have of the genuine belief that if the Dolphins were healthy, they would have been fighting for one of those playoff spots. The Jets were healthy, and they have one more win than the unhealthy Dolphins. They fired their coach, and their season's just as over as Miami's is. Actually, you know what's funny, though? It isn't. I actually looked at this the other day. I was shocked by this. Speaking of which, by the way, I forgot to mention, we're powered by BetUS, of course, as you know. My friends over on BetUS currently have the Week 11 lines up. We talked about this on the earlier show. But if you weren't with us, currently right now, it is anybody's game in Buffalo this upcoming week based on the betting line. Right now, the Buffalo Bills are a 1-point favorite on BetUS against the Chiefs. These same Chiefs who have won 15 consecutive games, haven't lost since last Christmas. Yes, your Buffalo Bills are the favorite right now on BetUS. 1-point favorite, that is. Over under of 45.5. I think that the game is going to come right down to that point total. And I think either way, either of these teams, regardless of who gets it done, they get it done within one score. If you want to get in on that game, 150% sign-up bonus on BetUS using the promo code YouTube150. That gets you that 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit, 125% bonus on your next two after that. So I had saw where the Dolphins... Oh, did I even show? Yes, my bad. Here's the promo code, by the way. So the Dolphins, I had saw the other day, they have a 3% chance at making the playoffs, but for some reason, I think it must be based on the fact that the Jets do have one more win than they do, and maybe the upcoming schedule. The Jets have. Let me see what the updated playoff odds are, as the Rams are set up for their first drive, and they are already faced with a 2nd and 20. Now, I should put this out there. I need Kyren Williams to go off tonight. So I'm playing my best buddy Josh in my home league. And I'll keep you updated throughout the stream. I got my sleeper app up. I'm down 7 points. He had freaking Joe Burrow on Thursday Night Football, who had 41 fantasy points. I've somehow clawed back. I'm only down 7. He's got Puka Nacua, and I have Kyren Williams. So I need Kyren Williams to get about 7 more points tonight than Puka Nacua. And as I say that, Kyren Williams had a decent run, but Rams immediately go 3 and out. This is a brutal, brutal start for the Rams. They allow the Dolphins to walk down the field, and now here are the Rams, immediate 3 and out. And it didn't help that they faced a 2nd and 20 instantaneously. All right, so anyway, back to those current odds to make the playoffs. So right now, the New York Jets, all right, it dropped significantly. I guess I hadn't checked it since yesterday. It dropped significantly. They now have a 13% chance. But the Dolphins currently have a 5% chance. If they win this, it goes to 8%. So you're saying there's a chance. I don't know what the hell would have to happen for that 8% chance to become an actual reality, but I'll tell you right now, it ain't happening. I think it's safe to say that it ain't happening. I hate to break it to you. I love to break it to you. I love to break it to you. Anyway, so as I was saying about the fantasy implications. So here's the deal. I have Kyren Williams. He's got Puka Nacua. I'm currently down by 6.3. So I need Kyren Williams to edge out Puka by about 6 points for me to seal the deal. Now, the Joe Burrow explosion on Thursday night really screwed me. I mean, that absolutely screwed me. The fact that I'm even within striking distance right now is pure luck. Because anytime, I mean, look what by the way, as you can see, I had Jared Goff last night. 5 INT performance from Jared Goff last night. That's the kind of luck I get in fantasy. I'm currently 4-5 right now. Going into this week, I was the number 1 scoring fantasy team in the whole league, but I also was the number 1 points allowed in the whole league. So I got a decent team here. Here's the makeup of it. And we had good performances all around this weekend outside of Devontae Smith. It's incredible. 34 points scored by the Eagles, and Devontae Smith had 3 targets, 2 catches, 14 yards. So I couldn't catch a break in that one. Luckily, it kind of evened out because Brian Thomas Jr. did absolutely nothing. He had the same exact stat line, essentially, for the Jaguars. So I'll keep you apprised of that. That's what we're rooting for tonight. Not only are we rooting for a Rams win, of course, because, of course, no other reason why, but we're rooting for Kyron Williams to be a big factor in the reason why the Rams lose. YPN is saying, I can't believe he's saying the fact the Lions pull off a win with 5 INTs by the Texans. Dude, I'm not kidding you. That had to be one of the worst losses of all time. Like I said, if that's the Bills last night, I don't think you guys would have seen me today. I don't think I would have been able to show my face. How do you wake up from that? How do you overcome your team, who's currently fighting for the division, right? Currently battling for a top 2 seed, hopefully. You're at home. You're at home. And you're up 23-7. And in the beginning of the game, the weird thing about that was that they looked dominant. They looked dominant in the beginning of that game. That looked like a complete polar opposite team that showed up last week, Thursday Night Football, against the New York Jets. The Jets, I don't know how they did it. How did the Jets somehow find a way to play like they did against the Texans last week and then look as bad as they did yesterday? It's because there's anomalies all over the league, right? But the fact that you can go from being that bad to then all of a sudden as good as you were in the second half yesterday, or in the first half yesterday, and then being as bad as you were in the Jets game, if not worse, in the second half again. It's just crazy, man. This league is nuts. It's crazy. But they were up 23-7. Goff had 5 picks. And it didn't matter. And they also made 2 50-plus yard field goals, 1 to tie it and 1 to win it. And I don't know if you guys watched, but if you didn't, go back and watch. I've never seen anything like it. Me and my buddies were talking. It literally felt like either goalpost had a magnet on it. And the ball, there was a magnet in the ball that was literally attached to that magnet. The first kick to tie it went right down the right upright, right down it. It went on the inside of it, of course, to tie it. He made it. I've never seen it so close. I've never seen him make that close ever. Then to win it, he did the exact same thing. He couldn't have done that again in 5 million attempts. No chance. No chance in hell. You gave that dude 5 million attempts that he could replicate exactly what he did in back-to-back attempts last night. The next one, he does the same exact thing, just on the opposite upright. That's why I think, I'm telling you, the Lions, team of destiny. Team of destiny. And if it can't be the Bills, I hope it's the Lions. A Lions-Bills Super Bowl would feed families. I mean, it would feed America. It would feed the world. Oh, Ariella, I realize how many 5 million is. That's the point I'm trying to replicate, or I'm trying to make here. That's how insane it was to me. Never seen anything like it. The ball, I've never seen the ball get that close to the upright without hitting it, and then doing it twice on the exact opposite end, both times. It was crazy. But maybe on the 5,000,001 attempt, Ariella, he could have done it. All right, so as I was just talking there, Dolphins immediate 3-and-out. So we'll take that. Ball back to the Rams. One of about 10,000 timeouts we'll have to endure through the evening here. Now, here's my gripe, and I wanted to talk about this. The commercials anymore. I don't know if people are running out of money. I don't know if companies are running out of money to run commercials. But why is it that it's the same companies every commercial break and it's the same like 6 commercials? It's always the same. Right now, it's no flex, zone. No flex, zone. They've been running that ad for 2 years. Wingstop. This family playing Jenga, eating wings. It's unbelievable. Every time I hear that song, my head's gonna explode. I hear it 10,000 times a day. It's that one. Now it's Amazon. They playing that beat in the background. Doom, doom, doom. Ooh, doom, doom, doom. That's the other one they're playing nonstop now. Every single commercial break, right? It just seems like there's no variety anymore. But thank God the political ads are done, because those are just, I don't know how those are legal. I don't know how the political ads are legal. For like a year, every year once every 4 years for a full year, you can just run nationwide ad campaigns, just taking a steaming dump on another human being. It's crazy. It's crazy. For once every 4 years, for a full year, you can just run national ads destroying another human being. And everybody's just like, yeah, that's political season. You can just take quotes out of context, completely spin them how you want, run a commercial on it. And then at the end, it's just like, I'm so-and-so and I approve this message. We got to be like the only nation to do that. Got to be like the only one to do it. I guarantee you, I doubt you go anywhere else in the country and you're seeing that, or anywhere else in the world, you're seeing that on the TV. But now we're going to get into the Christmas ads now. That's what it's going to be. It's just going to be nonstop Christmas commercials. And what I love about the Christmas commercials is they're always showing you things as if it could be like a normal gift, except it would cost you like a year's salary. GMC does it all the time. Like they'll be like, oh, look what I got you. And then he's like, that's what I got you type thing. And it's just, it's like a husband and wife. Like, first of all, your husband and wife, don't you think you'd sit down and discuss the idea of buying a $70,000 vehicle, much less you buying one, and then she just goes and so happens to buy you one as well? That's how your household works? That's not realistic. Doesn't make any sense. He's just like, oh, hey, by the way, ding-a-ling, here's the keys. And then she's like barely excited. And she's like, oh, that's like what I got you. They run it every year. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Just keep watching football for the next couple of months. You will see it. They've been running it every year for years. The same GMC commercial. And then they walk outside to go and see the cars, and they live in like it's like a $7 million house. I just don't know I don't understand how that's speaking to the people. Exactly. Hill Slayer is right on cue with me. And they're always in front of a modern new house with glass garage doors every time. It's like a $7 million compound every time. And I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, who is this for? And it's not like they're advertising like McLarens or Bugattis. It's like a GMC Sierra. It's like a regular dude car. Like, so like, who is this appealing to? It blows my mind. It kills me. Every time I see it, I can never get enough of it. Or I can get enough of it, believe me. But I can never get like over the fact that that's what the commercial is. Oh, these Rams might be cooked. This is 2 consecutive 3-and-outs. They barely gained a yard. Got to keep an eye out on these Rams too, by the way. The Bills play these Rams in a couple of weeks. I mean, what the hell? Just got completely blown up there. Rams have to win this game, too. If they win this game, the NFC West gets crazy interesting. It already is interesting. Current state of the NFC West right now might be the most interesting division in football because it really is anybody's game right now. So currently you have the Cardinals at the top at 6-4. You got the Niners a game behind at 5-4. And then it's the Rams at 4-4 and the Seahawks at 4-5. It really is anybody's division. I mean, shout out to the Cardinals. What a comeback year for Kyler Murray and these Cardinals. They're leading the division right now. I don't think anybody would have guessed going into week 11, the Cardinals would have a game and a half rather, on the Niners because the Niners already took their bye. Cardinals didn't. But the Rams were plus 1,600 to win this division like 3 weeks ago, and now they're like plus 300. So they've come a long way, but if they lose tonight, puts them in a real tough spot. So this division's up for grabs completely. And once again, the Bills play these Rams in so they got the Chiefs, the bye, the Niners, then it's the Rams. And it's in LA, it's in SoFi. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter so much about the crowd advantage because there won't be one. The Rams don't have a crowd advantage. That'll be probably 50% Bills fans if I were to guess. It's just the travel out there. Then again, though, the Bills traveled out to Seattle a couple weeks ago. And we know how that went. So I don't know if it'll matter too much. But the Rams are, when healthy and when they're clicking, I mean, you see what their offense is capable of, and their defense is coming along. It's young defense, still trying to find their footing a bit. Lost a ton of guys, obviously, including Aaron Donald. But definitely a team that you can never count out, the Rams, especially with McVay. Richie's asking, what's the odds? What are the money line odds for the Cardinals to win the division? Let's take a look. Last I checked, the Niners are still favored to win the division. I wouldn't be shocked if they still are, but it's close. Niners snuck one out yesterday against the Bucs. Cardinals beat the ever-living hell out of the Jets, which was amazing. We were doing that. We were watching that during the post-game show. I would keep looking over the corner, and it was just great. Every time I looked over, either Aaron Rodgers was getting blown up or Cardinals were going into the end zone. Oh, Richie, it's off the board right now. They take it off the board during the games. They take it off the board during a game where someone's playing, so it's not on BetUS right now. The last I checked, I believe the Niners were minus 125, and the Cardinals were like plus 150. So I'm guessing that's probably the same as it is right now. But if the Rams win, this is where it gets interesting, because if the Rams win, they would then be 5-4, and they have the head-to-head against the Niners. So the Niners odds would go down, the Rams odds would go significantly up, and I think the Cardinals might sneak into being the favorite. So rough start here for the Rams. Miami gets the ball back. This is their third possession. They went 2-and-out the last time. Handoff to Achane, couple-yard gain. I'm starting to see a lot more of these guys wearing the Guardian caps. You guys noticing that? Achane didn't have that Guardian cap on against the Bills last week, did he? I don't think he had it on against the Bills last week. He's got it on tonight. As we know, Taylor Rapp's been rocking that thing for weeks now, looking good in it. But I'm starting to see just about every game I tune into, there seems to be one guy on at least one of the teams rocking one. Oh, Videsh is saying he did rock it. He did wear it? Oh, I don't know how I didn't notice. He was blowing us up all game. I don't know how the hell I didn't notice he had it on. But you want to know what's funny about like some of them? Like with Achane's, I gotta be honest. I kind of like the fact that these guys are wearing it. Like you really can't tell unless you kind of focus in. Like when I was at the Jets, I was at the Jets Bills game. That's when Rapp came back, and that's when he first wore it. I had no clue that he was wearing it until I got home and rewatched the game. I had no clue. And I was like decently close. Close enough to where I should have been able to tell. I just couldn't. The white helmets, I think, help a lot with it. Like what Miami has here. Like if the Rams had one on, I feel like I might be able to notice it more. I'm not seeing anybody on the Rams defense who's rocking one, but it feels like every game you tune into, at least someone's rocking it. All right, 3rd and 6, Tua back to pass, throws, caught, first down. It's too easy, man. It's too easy. I mean, you might as well just giving them the whole middle of the field. I mean, there was no one there. I'm noticing this new approach from Miami. I kind of like it for them. I think it works for them. I think it's better for them. Everything's underneath. And I think it's got a lot to do with the fact that Tua is fresh off of the injury. But I think it's efficient. I think it works for them. I think Achane's that good. And I think when you have the threat of Waddle and Hill, like we talked about a lot last week when the Bills played them, when you have that threat, you're so occupied making sure that they don't take the top off of the defense that it does open up a lot underneath the middle. The difference is, however, I feel like in the past they weren't sticking with it. Tua would try to force one down the field. That's when a mistake would happen. That's when the game would flip. And you're noticing now they're continuing with it. And I was talking to my dad this afternoon because he said, and he made a great point. I feel like we've seen teams do this throughout the year against the Bills. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with the Bills dictating the flow of the game. Once they get the lead, it's tougher to do. But Jonathan Taylor, they just stopped giving him the ball. It wasn't like that game was insurmountable for the Colts in the second half. Like they didn't have to completely go away from giving the ball to Jonathan Taylor. The guy had 100 yards in the first half. And you go into the third quarter and it's still 20-13. There wasn't a point scored in the third quarter. It just kind of felt like, it feels like teams, once they get down to the Bills, they get happy feet. Like they know they're trailing to Allen, so they feel like they have to catch up, even though it might just be one score. It gets even worse when it winds up being bigger than one score. Then they completely bail from it in general. But we've seen this all year long. We saw the Titans bail on the run game. We saw the Dolphins bail on the run game the first time they played. We saw the Cardinals bail on the run game with James Conner. And every single one of them, in every one of those games, at some point in that game, that the opposing team had some flow, some momentum in the run game. And it wasn't like the Bills really proved they could stop it. They just kind of stopped doing it. And what we were talking about in this game is the fact that it wasn't over in the third quarter. It felt like the Bills were the better team the whole game. And it felt like they had the momentum. But it wasn't over to the point where you have to just air it out with Flacco nonstop. And they went away from it. What Miami did not do last week, which I thought was the best strategy they've had against Buffalo in a long time, they stuck with the same game plan the whole game. And that was Achane, Mostert, and keeping it within like 7 yards. And that led to their longest drive they had in like 6 years. That led to 27 points. The Bills haven't been allowing that type of point total in weeks. I had to tip my cap because it was a game that they had to have. The Dolphins would still be alive to some degree had they found a way to win. I thought they played their best game that they've played against Buffalo in a while in that one, and it just wasn't enough. But I really wouldn't have changed a thing if I was the Dolphins in that game from an offensive game plan standpoint. They just had to punt though. Rams got the ball back. They currently are on their third drive. They have -3 yards. So it's time to get it in gear here. 4 minutes left in the first. Rams ball, 1st and 10. Stafford back to throw. And there we go. 2-2 Atwell. He stepped up pretty decently for them when Puka and Cooper Kupp were out. Man, Dolphins pass rush tonight, though. Looking like the freaking 85 Bears out there. We got to get Kyron Williams involved, McVay. That's the goal here. That's the key. Feed Kyron. There we go. Dump off to Kyron Williams. Get on your... Was that Kyron? No, it's the backup. We can't be doing that. We're almost through the first quarter here. Kyron Williams has 0.6 points for me. Now, luckily enough, no targets for Puka yet. Let's keep it that way. PPR is so interesting because he had a catch, but he lost 10 yards on it, but you still get the point for the catch, so it just negates it. Oh, God, that's right. It's Blake Corum, the Michigan guy. Keep forgetting they have him because Kyron Williams has been playing so well. Corum was a beast in Michigan. Walt saying, there's no substitute for the run game, in my opinion. It's less about just running and more about the physicality that comes with the trenches and creating lanes. Screenplays don't demoralize a defense like the run. Physically, they don't. That's for sure. They definitely don't physically. But you can't tell me it's not demoralizing at times watching the Bills get dunked on with those screens like they seem to do on a weekly basis at least a couple of times. I mean, I don't think it demoralizes you from a like I said, from a physicality standpoint. But I feel like it can be demoralizing at times because you just can't stop it. I mean, I feel like anything that you can't stop consistently has got to be somewhat demoralizing. But it just feels like it's one of those things that teams don't want to continuously do all game long. The Dolphins did that. I mean, they really did. Yeah, they had a couple of moments at the end of the game there where they finally got Tyreek Hill involved, and Waddle finally had his first catch late in that game too against the Bills. But more or less, in that game, I think Devon Achane had 8 targets. Like, everything was underneath. I think it only works with certain teams, though. You have to have the running back to do it. And you have to have the wide receivers on the outside, I think, to be able to garner enough respect to allow you to run that type of game. I mean, did Kyren Williams get hurt? Because Blake Corum's getting every one of these touches now. I can't believe you guys are saying my broadcast is ahead of yours, because mine is never ahead of anybody. I have YouTube TV, and it's always like a play behind everybody's. Oh, let me know in the chat, by the way, if you're watching YouTube TV, because I have a secret for you as to why you might be behind. So for those who are behind me currently right now, I'm seeing 121 on my screen, 3rd and 7. Let me know if you have YouTube TV. I got a secret for you that I discovered just screwing around that has been a game changer for me. 3rd and 7 for picked off, tipped at the line and picked. Unbelievable. All right. By the way, let me know. So another thing weird, speaking of the internet, I can see myself. I'm looking over on YouTube right now, so I can see myself, and it looks fine. So StreamYard, which we use to do the shows, it'll tell you what your internet connection is. And right now, StreamYard is telling me that my connection is terrible, saying connection is unstable. Try replugging it. From what I can tell, it looks good. Does it look good on your guys' end? I don't know why this keeps doing this to me. And it only started doing it once I got my new internet provider, and it's been just a nightmare. And it throws me off. I constantly look up there to see it. It gives me like crazy anxiety because you're live, and boom, it just keeps popping up. Internet problem. Yeah, thanks for saying so. Mr. West said it looks great. All right, good. I don't know why it keeps doing that, but I don't know. I don't know how to describe it to you guys, like, so it would make sense to you. But I guess, like, imagine, just put yourself in my shoes. You're broadcasting live to thousands of people, whatever, and then on the top of the screen, it just keeps telling you, yo, your internet sucks, bro. Your internet sucks, bro. And you can't help but think about it. You're like, oh shit, this is looking like crap, whatever. So super annoying. Anyway, this YouTube TV secret. You ready? So if you're on YouTube TV right now, follow me. Follow through my instructions. So grab your remote and like bring it up to where it shows the bar or whatever. Like, it shows you the name of the game, like Miami Dolphins at Los Angeles Rams, and it shows you like where the closed caption and stuff is. You know what I mean? So go to that. Now go down and go over to the 3 little prongs on the far left. So you see where it says closed caption and HD, and there's the plus button there, whatever. Go over to the 3 little prongs on the far left side. Click on that, and then go down and click on broadcast delay. So you'll see like audio options, auto pause, send feedback, right? You see all that? Click broadcast delay. And then you're going to have it set to default. Click on decreased. Click on decrease and watch. Your stream will immediately skip ahead a couple seconds, guaranteed. Try it out. See if it works. Because I have YouTube TV. My dad still has basic cable, and we text during the entire game, every single play. And it was always pissing me off. He'd always be like a fraction ahead. And I'm like, there's got to be something. There's got to be some way to fix this, because YouTube TV is always a little bit behind. So I'm just dicking around. I'm like looking at all this stuff. And I see this and I'm like, whoa, this can't be this easy. This is exactly what I've been looking for like a year. And it said it was in beta. So I'm like, oh, this is new. So I click on it, hit decreased, and dude, ever since, it has been money. It is just as accurate as standard cable is. Yeah, no, for those asking, I'm glad it worked out. Dakota said it worked out. Let's go. Mr. West said it worked out for you. Yeah, my pleasure. Are you kidding me? Tell everyone, because everyone I know that has YouTube TV, like my father-in-law and I had a whole conversation about this. He was convinced that YouTube TV was running a racket to make you pay more for the updated, like for the accurate timing of the broadcast. I'm like, no, like that can't be it. Because if it was, one, they don't offer the ability to pay for it, and two, like I feel like nobody would want to pay for the service if they could just get it from somebody else. So I'm like, that can't be it. But then I'm like, I understand it's through the internet and cable's hardwired in. I understand why that might be farther ahead, because I think that the internet streams are just like the cable streams, but they have to go through a middle ground first. They have to go from the standard stream to the internet provider and then back. That's just my guess. I have no idea. But I always thought there's got to be a reason why it's slightly behind. But then, dude, sure as hell, I'm scrolling around and they have that, and it worked. So it's been great. I'm glad they people must have been complaining like crazy because they added it not all that long ago. And the first time I ever clicked it, it skipped ahead in the game. And I was like, oh my God. And boom. Because I'm live tweeting all game, I'm texting all game. Being behind, it just irritates the hell out of me. So if that helped you out, I'm glad, because it definitely was annoying the hell out of me for the longest time until I found that. All right, Dolphins, 2nd and 8, Rams territory. Pitch out to Achane. I don't know, the Rams. I don't know, folks. The Rams do not look good here. I know it's early, but this is looking pretty rough on both sides of the ball. They're playing Odell a decent amount tonight. Odell's been in there a good amount. Well, I don't know why. That's because Tyreek Hill's banged up, I guess. Throw from Tua, wide open to Waddle, drop. 3rd and 2. Wow, Waddle just dropped that. Damn, that was wide open. So field goal unit trots out for Miami. Wow. Waddle's had a year, huh? Not the best year for Waddle, especially if you own him in fantasy. My fantasy year really took the 180 when Brandon Ayuk. Not only did he have a season-ending injury, but he was brutal to begin with. He really threw off my whole vibe in fantasy this year. All right, 50-yard field goal up and good. Time to wake up, Rams. I mean, this isn't just you. I don't want you to just win for my sake, but you need to win for your own sake. You can't afford another loss. By the way, feel free in the comments. We're just chatting. So Q&A, whatever, any questions or anything about anything, I want to talk about something, bring it up. Feel free. We're hanging for the game. So let her fly. Tyler, by the way, setting us off. He's saying Keon already ruled out next week. Link in chat. Yeah. So, hey, Tyler, if you missed, I did a full about an hour show prior to this, and we broke it all down, talked about our boy Milano being back, likely after the bye, if not right around there, hopefully. But either way, back to practice. And yeah, we broke down the Keon situation. My whole take on that is, one, I don't know what happened where it went from like, maybe we'll see it's iffy to, all of a sudden he's not playing against the Seahawks to, he's not playing against the Dolphins he's not playing against the Dolphins last week. Like, it felt like right when the injury happened, it happened in Seattle. Or wait, no, it happened in Miami. What am I talking about? I'm getting my game. I keep getting him and Coleman mixed up, or Cooper. See, he just did it again. I keep getting him and Cooper mixed up because they have the same injury. Keep getting them flipped. But it happened in the Miami game, and I just felt like from there we didn't know quite the extent of it. Just like the same situation with Cooper, we didn't quite know the extent. Cooper going into that, into the first game that he missed, it just felt like it didn't seem like it was inevitable that he wasn't going to play in the game. Then he didn't. And I thought, all right, well, he's got to be back next week. And he wasn't back this past week. So now you're dealing with Coleman here. The issue with Coleman is he was announced today that he's not playing. So that tells you there was no chance at all of him, not only being healthy for last week, which was obviously out of the question to begin with, but there was never a question about this week either. It's just set in stone. So, all we can hope for is he fully heals up through the bye and we get him back for San Francisco. That would be great. That would then give him a full 4 weeks, essentially, to heal that up. From what I can tell from Thigh Doc's comments on it, that wrist is typically, that's what it takes to heal up, 3 to 4 weeks. So hopefully that is what it winds up being. But there was a question about whether or not he needed surgery or not. It doesn't look like that's the case. So I think that in itself you have to be happy about. But at this point, I'm just hoping to God we get him back for San Francisco. That's where I'm at. And then Cooper, we got to have Cooper out there this week. We just got to, the whole thing I talked about on the previous episode is just, we got to have Cooper out there this week for me to have my full-fledged confidence. Because if we're already considering Kincaid potentially being a game time type decision, Spencer Brown as well, you're already without Coleman. I don't know. I just think that Cooper is the major difference to me in that game offensively, in a spot where you're going up against the best defense you've faced all year, the best defense you probably will face all year. I think even if he's not a major point of emphasis in the overall game plan, just having him out there on the field is a night and day difference in terms of what it does to the Chiefs defense and how they approach this game. So we just have to hold out hope right now that with Coleman out officially, we have to hold out hope now that Cooper can go. And I think that if Cooper can go, we're in decent shape. By the way, I'm noticing now, I'm seeing my stream over on YouTube. That internet's starting to take a piss, man. I'm telling you guys, man. I can't catch a break with these guys. I mean, these guys are the worst. They are the worst. I do everything I can. I unplug, I plug back in all the time. I call these people 1,000 times a week. Nothing works. Man. Dolphins are, this is not good for the Rams. This is just not good. Another sack, another punt. This D line, I don't know if it's is the Rams O line just this bad? Take a peek. I had no idea they were this bad. I didn't think they were great, but and they're getting chewed up by this Dolphins front right now. I know the Dolphins got a decent front, but this is ridiculous. I mean, they are all over Stafford, all over him. Wow, yeah, okay. I'm seeing some adjusted rankings here. They're ranked in the low 20s as far as offensive line. That makes sense because they're getting chewed up right now. Chewed up. So I know I bitch about the internet a lot, but the reason I do is because, like, the internet I pay for, like, it's top of the line when it's working well. The download speeds are like 900 megabits a second. The upload speeds are like 300 megabits a second. And every time I run the internet test, it shows me that, like, pretty much every time, without fail. And then it just feels like as soon as I hit the live button, that's when I run into an issue. And there's no way that doing these streams takes up that much bandwidth. I mean, I'm not streaming Live Aid here, folks. You know, I'm not putting together a relief concert stream at MSG here. We're doing a Bills YouTube talk show in my office. You can't tell me that's shutting down the power grid. Every time I hit the damn live button, though, it just starts going berserk. And so I called the guy, and the one time, it is fiber. It is fiber. So it's a small company out in Connecticut called Honest. And I've said it before, honestly, they've been pissing me off. They have this device. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it's like this black box that's attached between the router and the modem. And it's supposed to be this thing that gets you from like the standard speeds to these accelerated speeds. And I do get those speeds. Like for work, I download a ton of HD footage for video editing. And I download every week. I got to download hundreds of gigabytes of footage. And it downloads like you wouldn't believe. It is only when I get into here that it just starts completely screwing with me. So one time I called a guy for what must have been the 1,000th time. Now they're a smaller company, so when they know me over there. Like if you call like Verizon or Spectrum, like you're gonna get the odds of you getting the same person on the phone again. You got a better odds of hitting the Powerball. With this company, they're small enough to where they know you and they answer the phone instantly. It's what I do like about them. It's what I do like about this company. Their customer service is A1, top notch, like the best. And so you get the human on the phone. And I did get one guy on the phone, and he's like, you know what? I was telling him what I do. I'm like, look, I'm a YouTube guy, and I'm constantly streaming. And I'm like, it's embarrassing for me to go live and have to constantly either address the situation, have to fix the situation, or even if it's not causing an issue, I have to constantly look and monitor the situation. Like it's a nuisance, especially when I'm paying you guys for what should be the opposite of this. And so he tunes in. He literally one night I had like 3 streams. I was doing Fanatics, and then I was doing like one of the round tables. And he monitored my whole stream that night. And what do you know? And I knew this would happen. Picked off. Let's go. Rams just picked off Tua. Turned the ball over. Let's go, baby. Turn the ball over. Yes, sir. Let's go, baby. And I love how they always pan to Mike McDaniel right after the Tua pick. They pan to Mike McDaniel every time, and he's always just like this. Every time. What's the flag? What's the flag? What's the flag? Was it after the pick? Was it after the pick? This, you guys know this by now. I mean, how many times have I brought this up? This meeting of the minds after these flags is unreal. All right, so the pick counts, but blindside block, personal foul on the Rams on the return. So they would have had it at like the 10. Now they're going to have it at like the 30. But pick stands regardless, so that's huge. Big play for the Rams. I'm loving that. I mean, I don't know. Let me see this again. Am I blind? Did that seem like just a normal block to you, or am I insane? When I think blindside block, I think like you go in and take a dude's head off. Like, oh my God. Dude, I can't look away for 2 seconds. Dude, these guys, all right, they're cooked. These Rams are cooked. So you pick the ball off. The next play, you fumble the ball. The next play, you fumble the ball. That's 100% a fumble. I mean, dude, I don't know. Don't you just get the vibe tonight? It's just not their night because they look terrible. They look awful. Good God, the rare back-to-back turnover. I feel like I'm watching the Lions game again last night. They're just turning the ball over every other play. Well, that sucks. So you go from, they would have had the ball on the 10, then they get the blindside block, so they get backed up to the 40, and then now they don't even have the ball. Unbelievable. What a joke, man. These Rams. There's Tyreek. I mean, they'll score here. Thing is, like they're good enough to put up points. You got to take advantage of their opportunities they give you, and they give you them. That's how the Dolphins lose so much. They constantly put themselves in a hole. And they just set you up in the red zone. You piss that away with a flag, and you immediately piss the possession away. Unbelievable. Yeah, Richie's saying they're saving their best for the Bills. The Rams are. Unbelievable, man. That was the tide turner right there. Just completely pissed it away. Tell you what, the Dolphins cannot run the ball tonight. Every run has been stuffed at the line almost. Every one of them. Anyway, back to what I was saying about the internet, just to wrap that up, though. So I had the guy, cool dude. He's like, all right, what time are you going live tonight? I told him the times I'm going live. And I'm like, all right, here's the times I'm going live. He says, all right, I'm going to monitor your system the whole time you're live. And I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. And it's exactly what happened. I was live probably for 4 hours straight. The internet did not cut out once. One time. I knew it was going to happen. Just my luck. Second I get that guy to check out what's going on, nothing went wrong. Anyway, so get back a hold of them. And then they say, all right, you know what? We're so sorry for the issues that you've been having. We're just going to give you the internet for free until it starts working better for you. I'm like, oh, okay, wow. Because I was planning on switching again. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to switch. They go, no, we're going to give it to you for free until it starts working at it the way it should be. So I'm like, all right. And you know what's funny? During the time in which it was free, it was working probably the best it ever had. I just got a bill in the mail. Or I just got a bill on my banking state. Fumble. To a fumble. Get on it. Whose ball? I think the Dolphins got it back. Nope, let's go. That's Rams ball. That's Rams ball, baby. Boom, boom, boom. This is Rams, or this is Lions, Texans 2.0. Turnover every other play. Let's go. Strip sack on Tua, baby. Turn the ball over, is back. 2 possessions, 2 TOs. Anyway, so I got a bill on my credit card statement the other day, and the second I saw that they charged me again, it's been back. They've been back on their BS. Isn't that unbelievable? Oh, Ariola, if you haven't heard, I said it the other day. I need to tweet this out because I had a bunch of people on Twitter asking me about it when I had kind of told the story about the Chase Bank situation. It got solved. Thank God. It's all solved. We got the money back. Thank God. In fact, not only did we get the money back, we got the account back because we were told that it was impossible. They said it was impossible to reopen the account. Once an account's closed, you can't get it back. We got the account back and the money back. It was great. Now, it went from not being able to happen to all of a sudden being able to magically happen within one night. We went from having to make phone call after phone call, talk to person after person, all this stuff. It was crazy. I mean, like I told you throughout the story there, like you saw how awful it was. And we felt like we had no recourse or no action to be able to get anything done. And we were at the mercy of them just coming to their senses. And thank God they did. It's crazy. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Caroline gets a call at like 8:00 at night, by the way. I didn't even think customer service agents worked that late. Gets a call. And even during the beginning of that call, she's like, oh, we still haven't really solved anything. Then she gets to talking to her. She puts her Caroline on hold, comes back. Account was back. Unbelievable. So I'm not questioning it anymore. Knock on wood. Thank God. It's all solved. It's all good. And I hope to God it never happens again. And I hope it doesn't happen to anybody I know because that was a nightmare. But as of right now, once again, knock on wood, all good. And hopefully we can just put that behind us. VVS Handle is saying this is one of the ugliest games I've watched in a while. This is terrible. I just went live last week on a whim for the Chiefs Bucks game. We got treated to a banger of a game in that game. This game sucks. This game is trash. I was expecting more out of the Rams tonight. Big spot for the Rams. You're at home. A win puts you at second place in the division. A couple of weeks ago, you were dead in the water. Now you're completely back. This win would be massive. I mean, they have a legitimate, they still have one more game against the Cardinals, too. They can control their own destiny in terms of winning this division. They got one more game against the Niners and one more game against the Cardinals. They can control their own destiny, essentially. They cannot lose this game. They lose this game. This puts them at 4-5, down with the Seahawks. And then you have the Cardinals at 6-4. And the Cardinals already beat the hell out of them earlier in the year. So let's just hope they find a second gear here. Hope you enjoyed the 1 p.m. window yesterday for the Bills, by the way. The fact that they're not playing at 1 p.m. again. And these 425ers are tough for me to get used to. Growing up, man, I don't think what would you say? Between the years like 2000 and 2017, how many 4 p.m. window games do you think the Bills played? I bet you they've played more in the last 3 years than they had played in the last 15 years prior to that combined. It felt like they never, ever, ever played in that 4 p.m. window. They got it this week. They got it. Then it's Sunday Night Football against the Niners after the bye. Then it's 2 4 p.m. Games in a row. And then it's Christmas. And that's their next 1 p.m. game. 3 days before Christmas against the Patriots. J-Dub saying, where are you at, J-Dub? Are you somewhere in, he's saying the 1 p.m. games are 9 a.m. for you. So 9 a.m. We're 6 hours behind. Where are you at, J-Dub? You must love the 4 p.m.ers then. That's perfect time for you. Noon games for you. You got to love that. All right, there we go. Stafford hits cup and stride. And the Rams are on the outside of the red zone. Let's go. This is a good point. Laura's saying the Bills Mafia would get too wasted before 4 p.m. That's why Sunday is going to be rowdy. A couple extra hours to get the stadium lubricated. Look out. Oh, that's right. You are in Alaska. We've talked about that before. Man, damn. I'm kind of with Hillslayer here. Now, I will say I feel like this would get old quick. But if I came out, like say I came out and I was in Alaska and you and me got together, man, a 9 a.m. Bills game does sound kind of fun. That does sound kind of fun. I've been in Europe a couple times for Bills games. Where was I? I'll never forget, like just for example, I was in Europe. I was in Ireland for the Minneapolis Miracle. So when Stephon Diggs caught that ball to beat or to win the game, beat the Saints for the Vikings, I think it was 3 a.m. in Ireland. I'll never forget. I was laying in a bed in a hotel room in Ireland watching that on my phone, and everyone was asleep, and I couldn't contain myself. I was losing it, like internally. I had a whole room of people dead asleep. But I was in. Actually, speaking of the Dolphins, it was a Bills Dolphins game a couple of years ago, and I was in Madrid, and it was a 1 p.m. game. And I believe that they're 6 hours ahead. So it was so weird. Like it was dark out watching the Bills in like full blown sun. So weird. I don't know how they do it over there. I know we got a good amount of European people who tune into us every now and then. And I don't know how you guys do it. Crazy. All right, so another drop for the Rams, and they are going to have to settle for a field goal here. I don't know what's going on. They just have nothing going, and they're not running the ball at all. And I need them to run the damn football. I mean, they got nothing right now. I'm looking over on my fantasy, and nothing has changed. Kyron Williams has 0.8 points for me. I'm screwed. He's got 0.4 points because he lost the fumble. I forgot about that. He's got 0.4 points. And Puka's got 2 catches. So not looking good for me right now. Not looking good for the Rams right now. They do hit the field goal, though. Man, this game is whizzing by. This game sucks. This game blows. This game's almost at half. Is this not like the worst game you watched all weekend? Tyler's saying, I'll be at the Bills-Niner game this year. So will I, Tyler. You'll have to come find me for a shot. I'll have to toss one back. I will be there. I was saving this story for, and I'll tell this story again before that game, but the reason I'm going to the Bills-Niners game is because of the generosity of the amazing viewers. That's right, you guys. The amazing viewers, our amazing friends here at the Buffalo Fanatics. So a couple of weeks ago, I wake up to a DM from my man Donnie. Now, crazy story. So once again, speaking of the Dolphins, it's Bills Dolphins. What was it? 2 years ago. Bills Dolphins 2 years ago. The snow game. The Bills had the color rushes on. Game down to the wire. Tyler Bass hit the walk off, and they did the Snow Angels. So walk in to the stadium and get to our seats, and I hear someone saying like, "Oh, I don't remember exactly how it went down, but I think it was like heard someone say, "Oh, is that Z-Bot or whatever?" I get a tap on the shoulder, and it was Donnie. It was Donnie and his son, and his son Harrison, and they watch us every week. Him and his son Harrison watch us every week, and it was so cool. We took some pictures together, and we sat and enjoyed the whole game together. It was awesome. I think Harrison at the time, man, he was just a kid. And the thought of them, they live up in Canada, I think in Toronto area. And just the thought of like a father and son, kind of like how me and my dad grew up, watching the game. The thought of like him growing up watching me with his dad was like the coolest thing in the world to me. I thought that was just amazing. I'll never forget Donnie was like, "Hey, would you mind, I hate to bother, would you mind taking a picture with Harrison?" I'm like, "Dude, would I mind? Are you kidding me? This is the coolest thing ever." Like the idea of you guys watching me every week, and then we're sitting here for this big game, because that was the night that night would clinch the East for the Bills if they won. I'm like, "Man, are you kidding me? This is the coolest thing ever." So Harrison and Donnie been watching ever since, and I get a DM from Donnie the other day, a couple weeks ago actually. And I woke up to it, and just out of nowhere, he was like, "Hey man, just messaging you out of the blue, but I happen to have 2 tickets to the Niners game. I'm not going to be able to make it up, and just wanted to see if you and your dad wanted to go. I wanted to see if you wanted our tickets." And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me! Like, no way. Are you serious?" He's like, 100% serious. Never got to thank you for hanging out with us that night. I'm like, "Thank me. Are you kidding me? That was the coolest thing ever." I still talk about it. I still remember it. So long story short, man, Donnie sent me the tickets right then and there, hooked it up. They're amazing seats. So huge shout out to Donnie. And I'm going to tell that story again in a better way, in a more in-depth way, the week before that game, because I can't thank them enough. Biggest shout out ever to Donnie and Harrison. And didn't have to do that at all. Nicest thing ever. And that's the reason why I'm going to the game. So incredible stuff. And me and my dad will be there, and I cannot wait for that game. That's a game I had circled that I wanted to go to anyways in the beginning of the year. And the fact that it's happening because of awesome people like you guys is just incredible. So I will be at that one, man. Sunday Night Football. And the perfect thing, too, is I was already going to be home for Thanksgiving, so it's perfect. I'm home for Thanksgiving, then go right to the game. It's going to be great. Tyler's saying, "Where do you usually tailgate?" Usually depends, but it's always in one of the outskirt lots. I'm never in the like the actual parking lot. So me and my dad always park at someone's house. Just depends on who's open that night. That's what I love so much about the Bills Stadium. And I don't know if this is going to be the same. I doubt this is always going to be this way when the new stadium opens up. I just feel like this is going to go away because of that. But if you've never been to a Bills game, at the Ralph, like, people literally, they let you park in their driveway and their yard. And I guarantee that these people are able to pay their mortgage for like 6 months out of the year doing that. It's amazing. I love it. You literally just pull down a side street near the stadium, and there's dozens of people who just open up their homes. You can either park in their driveway, and if the driveway's filled up, oftentimes they have spots allocated within their front yard. So you throw it and park in the front yard. We do it every single time. Now, the secret to doing that is not just because, you don't have to go get into all the mess near the stadium, but getting out of the stadium, like getting out of there without hitting traffic, that's the strategy. Don't tell too many people. I don't want to give it away to everyone because I don't want to have the strategy go from being the strategy to no longer being the strategy. But if you park at one of those side streets, at one of those homes, getting onto the thruway and out of the stadium there, let's go. Sack on Tua. Getting in and out of there, man, it is a breeze. You probably save 45 minutes to an hour of sitting in traffic just doing that. So we do that, and then we walk to wherever my buddies are usually at, and it's typically the hotel next to Ted's Hot Dogs. There's a motel next to Ted's Hot Dog, which is right next to the stadium, and they clear out their entire parking lot. They open the parking up in their parking lot for game parking, and then you tailgate in there, and that's where I'm typically at. So note that down, I guess, Tyler. Note down motel next to Ted's Hot Dogs. There's a 90% chance that's where I'm going to be. Richie's saying, going to DM you and you're going to play on the ping pong table. Yeah, man, Richie, we got to link up. I got to check out the custom ping pong table you built. That thing is sweet. Got the custom lights and everything. I love that thing. Phil is saying, yo, bot, I'm in London. Any Bills primetime game has me up to 5 a.m. Oof. I do love London, though, but that's rough. So, yeah, so that what does that mean? An 8 p.m. game in London would start when? 2 a.m.? 3 a.m.? That's got to be rough. Especially, all primetime games are a work night, right? Sunday night or Monday night or Thursday night, doesn't matter. Yeah. The last couple of years have got to be rough for you, Phil. Bills loaded up with primetime games. I will say, though, once again, not anything I'd want to get used to on a weekly basis, but the idea of a Bills game kicking off at like 2 a.m. sounds pretty damn cool. 1 a.m., that's what it is. All right, that sounds pretty damn cool. Think about it. You can go out to the bar, like say it's a Thursday night game. You can go out to the bar till 1 a.m. and then come home and watch Bills football. I'd like to do it like once. I definitely wouldn't want to make a habit out of it. All right, what do the Rams got here? 2-minute drill for the Rams. 2 minutes on the clock now after that Kyron Williams run. There we go. Got about 9 on that run. So they got 2 minutes, and they're on the Dolphins, what? Right around the Dolphins 15. I will say the Rams, the fact that they're within a score here, and I believe they get the ball first. They get the ball first in the second half. Not bad. Feels like they've played. I mean, the Dolphins have not done anything in this game other than the first drive, but it just feels like they have been terrible from the jump. So the fact that they're within a score here and can potentially get points before half and get the ball first, we're in somewhat decent shape. Yeah, so what's that like, though, when you're saying the boss is not so happy the next day? Like, how is it for you guys over there? Because there's got to be no one has got to understand it. That'd be like over here if we went late to work the next day because of like an international soccer game. Everybody would be like, bro, who cares about international soccer? We'd be like, what the hell are you coming into work late for because of a soccer game? But of course, over here, if you're working in Buffalo and you come in late Monday morning after a Sunday night game, you're not going to be the only one. Everybody gets it. So what's that like when you go in there and you're like, oh, I was watching the Bills? They got to be like, what the hell are you talking about? What the hell is that? That's got to be a whole different experience. I couldn't imagine living in an area where football isn't the dominant thing. But where I live in Connecticut, it's a melting pot. Like it's not. there's not one set team out here. You got your pocket of Jets fans, you got your pocket of Giant fans, you got your pocket of Patriots fans. It's a lot of Jets and Giants for the most part. But there's no like, it's just weird being in a spot where it's not dominated by one team. Because even in Rochester, I know Rochester, it isn't Buffalo, but it's still, it's still 70% Bills fans. And you see Bills stuff everywhere. And on game day in Rochester and Buffalo, like or when the Bills are playing and it's game day in Rochester, like if you go out of the house, it's Bills everywhere. So it's weird kind of not being surrounded by that. It does suck at times. What's BT saying? Bartek saying, Zeba, I was in New Haven over the weekend and it was a struggle to find a bar that was showing the Bills. Did you get some pizza, Bartek? New Haven, Connecticut, man, incredible pizza. Connecticut claims themselves to be the pizza capital of the world. And I don't blame them. I have yet to have a bad slice of pizza out here. Every spot is terrific. Colonies, Frank Pepe's, all good. Everything's good. Sally's, yep. Oh, BT got Sally's. Let's go. Sally's is delish. Get Sally's all the time. Colony Grill all the time. Then they had just opened up a Frank Pepe's in Stamford. And that's pretty good, too. They're all good. Speaking of which, by the way, Bartek, I finished up all of the snacks. So Bartek got me a ton of snacks when I met up with him at the Jets game. Tons of good stuff. I just polished off the last of those chocolates. So he got me some chocolates that had like bourbon inside of them, which were awesome. Took me a while to finish them because there was a ton in there, but I finished those up. Pickles were great. Pickles low-key might have been my favorite thing. Bartek got me a whole bag of Polish snacks from the Polish market that he lives by, which was so freaking cool. And everything in there was delish. But I think the pickles might have been my favorite. I'm a huge pickle guy. Love pickles. And I loved those. They were huge. Big boys. But everything was good in there, Bartek. I liked everything. Those chocolates were lethal. Feels like, all right, so Kyron Williams with another catch for a first down here. They're driving. Just went under the minute mark here. They got 2 timeouts. They're at around the 50-yard line. In terms of this fantasy implications here, it feels like every time Kyron Williams does something, it gets countered with what Puka's doing. I need him to score a touchdown. That's what I need. I need Kyron Williams to get in the end zone. Deep ball to Puka, thank God. Or no, it's not Puka. That's Robinson. All right, so we're at the 40-second mark here. 2 timeouts for the Rams. 2nd and 10. Ball at around the 50. Points here would be massive, especially because they get the ball first. Ooh, Hillslayer says he makes his own pickles. Damn. So you grow the cucumbers and then you pickle them yourself, huh? I like that. Some people get into the craft brewing, right? They get into the gardening. I like that right there. I could see myself getting into that. How are they, though? They turn out good? There we go. Kyron Williams on another catch. Gets up. Let's go. First down into Miami territory. Take the timeout. 33 seconds left. Because, like, really good pickles, they're going to cost you a couple. Like, you can get cheap pickles, obviously, for a couple bucks. But, like, if you start stepping up and you spend, like, $7-8 on the locally grown pickles, those are where it's at, man. Oh, my God. It's night and day difference. And it's always in the crunch. The flavor is obviously better, but the crunch of the locally grown, oh my God, it's the best. And BT said he's got 100 jars of those pickles in the cellar. Damn. BT stocked up for, he's got enough pickles to last himself through the apocalypse. Hillslayer saying, oh, see, now we're talking. He throws jalapenos into the jar. I love the spicy pickles. So jalapenos and the garlic. The garlic cloves and the jalapenos in with the pickles. Oh, you're doing it right. I don't know if you do the garlic. Oh, no, strip sack. Jeez, dude, this offensive line for the Rams is a liability. Oh, my God. Couple weeks from now, man, I'm going to be pissed if Groot doesn't have a career day based on what I've seen in this game. Holy crap. They're just getting torn up on the outside. He just didn't. Stafford didn't read that at all. He didn't step up in the pocket at all. That's just as much on Stafford there. Why is it down to 19 seconds and they still have a timeout? What the hell just happened there? How do the Rams still have a timeout? They just lost like 15 seconds off the clock there, and they still have a timeout. I don't know what the hell happened. I know now they say they don't have a timeout. What the hell? Pass to Puka, and that's probably going to end the half. All right, they get the spike off. Man, what's this going to be? A 60-yard field goal? What the hell just happened there? The clock was at like 27 seconds. It felt like McVay took the timeout, and it went down to 19 seconds. All right, they're going to get a field goal off here. 55 yards. 3 seconds left. Of course, Puka had to make that damn catch. Kyron Williams is no-showing on my ass, man. Need to make up 9 points in the second half. All right, 55-yard attempt for the Rams. This is a big one. Kick is up. Oh, he nailed that. He nailed that. All right. Okay, we'll take that. Because that drive died. We will take that. Look at 10-6, as bad as they played in the first half. And I think I value McVay's halftime adjustments more than I'm valuing Mike McDaniel's. I'm signing up for that. 10-6 at the break. Let's see if Mike McDaniel runs. Ooh, look at that stat. 16-5 Mike McDaniel is when leading at half. 0-3 this year. Damn. One of those was the Bills game. Oh, Wicked. Yeah, Wicked's a Webster guy, as am I. Moving to Washington. I'll tell you what. Oh, you already moved to Washington. I love Washington, man. Washington's one of my favorite states in the country. It is a beautiful, beautiful state, man. Driving through Washington is awesome. Just gorgeous. Love that state, man. Go out there every Labor Day. It's my favorite. Yeah, it is rainy. It definitely is rainy. But when you get a nice day, though, man, it's gorgeous. But they love their Hawks out there, man. I got to give them credit. See, I'm fine with it. Like, if I was in an area like that, I know it's not the Bills, but I do appreciate the loyalty to a team in an area. Like, that's why I don't particularly love the vibe down here. Because there isn't one team everyone's loyal to. It's just a mixed bag. It's a little bit of Jets, a little bit of Giants, a little bit of Patriots. Like, at least in Washington, it's just you're seeing the 12 fly everywhere. There's this huge facility I drive by on the way to the Gorge in Washington every Labor Day. I always see it every year. There's this huge company. I forget if it's a construction company or something, but it's a huge, huge building. And they must have a 30-foot tall 12 flag on the outside of it. It's the coolest. Like that I love. Like when one spot's super loyal to their squad. I love that. Richie's asking if I've ever lived in Buffalo. Nope, never lived in Buffalo. Lived in, obviously, Rochester, Manhattan, Oswego, now Connecticut. Never Buffalo. But I've spent many a time in the 716. Look at that suit that Jason Kelce has on. He looks like Sherlock Holmes. Look at him. He looks like a detective in the 1800s. What's up with the Ryan Clark brooch now? He's got his own logo. Ryan Clark. You notice that now? He wears it every time he's on TV. The brooch, the RC brooch. Tell you what, I'd like to jump into Ryan Clark's closet though. He's got some fits, man. That dude's always dressed up. He's always crushing the fit game. I feel like Scott Van Pelt's like 7 feet tall. Or not, obviously, I've never seen I've never seen Scott Van Pelt in person, but he looks like he's massive. Yeah, Hill Slayer saying those suits are nutty. They are nutty, but he pulls it off. If I wore that, I'd look like a freaking idiot, but he pulls it off. You can pull off that. Like, it must be the coolest thing in the world to pull off like crazy fits. Like, I mean, remember when Stephon Diggs was showing up to games in kilts? And even though it looked a little weird, like he still pulled it off. Imagine if I showed up on the show here in a kilt, you guys would be dying at me. It's crazy. Francisco, he's tuning in from Puerto Rico. Love that. What up, Francisco? Francisco tuning in to BF from the BR. Better believe it, baby. Let's go Warriors. Football state champions of what, 2003? What are we state champions in since? Oh, hockey. We won. Schrader won. All my buddies won states in hockey when I was a senior in high school, 2015. Or no, was it the 2014 year? 2014. So I was a junior at Schrader when we won the states in hockey. They beat Victor, I believe, for the sectionals, and I forgot who they beat in the states, but it was an epic run. Like they no one thought they were like good enough going into the year to be that type of team, and they just went on an unreal run. My good buddy Butts, Ryan Butel, he was the goalie. And I had so many buddies on that team. So many good dudes were on that team. And they just went on an epic run. Roman's asking who my college team is. The Nittany Lions, baby. Penn State Nittany Lions. So the reason for that is my grandparents met at Penn State. Centennial year they graduated. So Penn State was founded in 1855. And my dad's parents met there and then graduated in 1955. So best way I can put it is the only reason I'm alive today is because of Penn State. Those two meeting in state college. They've been together, or they were together ever since. God rest my grandpa's soul. He's been gone for way too long now. But they met there. Grandma's still kicking it. She's 91. She was the one who ordained our wedding. Caroline and I, my grandmother, ordained our wedding. But yeah, man, lifelong Penn State fan, and that's just because of the family lineage. My grandfather played football there, and he played lacrosse there, and my uncle played lacrosse there from 82 to 85. And it's unfortunately we haven't done it as much since I've moved out of the house and we've gotten older and stuff. But we would go to a game every year. We went a couple of years ago. But Penn State game every year. I've been to a bunch of whiteouts, and I've been to Penn State probably 120 plus times. I love State College, one of my favorite places on the planet. So big Penn State football fan, but man, it's tough. Penn State's been the same team essentially my whole life. They're always a budding top 10 team on the good years, top 5 team like they are this year, but it's the same result every time. Either Michigan or Ohio State every year, regardless, is going to ruin Penn State's year. Every single time. And that's what's happened every year, essentially, since I've been alive. Now, and it'll happen, it happened again this year, right? For a rough, Ohio State didn't even play well in that game. And Penn State lost. And then they'll win out, likely. They just destroyed Washington on Saturday night. So they'll win out. Right now, they're ranked 6th, even though they've played nobody. Their signature win is USC. And I don't know if anybody watched Penn State USC. It was one of the craziest games of the year. Penn State had no business winning that game at all. Robbed USC of that game. That's their signature win, and USC is in a down year right now. They've been in a couple down years now with Lincoln Riley. That's their signature win. If Penn State was in the SEC, they'd have a losing record. And James Franklin, to me, I do not understand how this guy maintains a job. If James Franklin was the head coach of the Bills, I know people get on their horse sometimes about McDermott when stuff goes wrong. All right. With 13 seconds or last year, or whatever. You don't realize how good you have it sometimes when it comes to other situations. James Franklin in a big game. I forget the stat. It's an absurd. Let me look it up. Just because it's talked about nonstop for good reason. Penn State cannot beat a top 10 opponent. So James Franklin's combined record versus Ohio State and Michigan is 4-17. And versus ranked teams, he's 12-27. He's 3-18 against top 10 teams. But if you look at his record, he's 88, or this was before the season, so it's not as updated. Let me see if I can get an updated one. His record against anybody not in the top 10 is like Hall of Fame level stuff. They destroy everybody not in the top 10. But once they get to the point in the season where they got to play the cream of the crop, they falter every time. So right now, James Franklin is 3-17 against top 10 teams. Their last win against the top 10 team was in 2022. Mind you, that might not seem like a long time ago. This is a Penn State team that is currently ranked 6th, that is nonstop ranked in the top 10 every year. Always. Always. Ohio State is now, I believe, 10-1 against Penn State since James Franklin's taken over. And they just don't make a switch. And if they were in the SEC, if they had to play Georgia and Texas and Bama, I don't know where they're getting a winning record from. It's incredible. Hillslayer is saying they're like the 23 Dolphins. Yeah, Penn State often reminds me of the Dolphins and the Cowboys. You know, when you play, you play the Northwesterns of the world and the Purdues of the world. Yeah, you Washington the other night, you win by 30. You play Ohio State, you play Michigan, and no matter what, whether it's close, not close, lose every time. Every time. So, story of my life as a Penn State fan, is for any Penn State fan, the best year was the Saquon Barkley, Trace McSorley year. They had a ton of the talent was incredible on that team. Micah Parsons, Saquon Barkley, Trace McSorley, one of the best quarterbacks in Penn State history. Chris Godwin was on that team. And they won the Big Ten championship that year. But they got snubbed from the college football playoff. That was back when it was only a 14 playoff. So this year with the 12 team, Penn State will make the playoff. And the same thing will happen that always happens. They'll wind up facing, whoever. They'll have to take on who would it be right now? They just released it. Maybe Texas. Regardless of who they have to play, they're going to lose in the first round. I'd put any amount of money on it. So as it stands right now, by the way, this 12-team college football playoff, it's going to be amazing. The first year of it, oh my God. I cannot wait for this college football playoff. It's going to be... This year is going to be crazy because this past week even, you had 2 top 4 teams lose. There's only one undefeated team left, or 2 undefeated teams left in the major conference. Well, no, I forgot about BYU. So you have Oregon's undefeated currently. Indiana is playing Ohio State this weekend. That has potential to be the game of the year. Who would have thought? Indiana out of nowhere. Indiana has been a mid-tier Big Ten team forever, oftentimes towards the bottom end of that mid-tier. They're 10-0, ranked 5th right now. They play Ohio State this weekend. That's going to be one of the games of the year. Crazy. But the respect that Penn State gets is crazy to me. Like in the AP Top 25, right now Penn State's ranked 4th. They're 8-1. Indiana's 10-0, and they're ranked 5th. A lot of times with college, it's like name recognition. That's why I like this 12 team, because now you're getting more teams with a crack at it as opposed to narrowing it down to 4 teams and it often going to the same 4 teams every year. But I think right now Penn State would have to play like Notre Dame or Ole Miss, and it just they got crushed by Ole Miss last year in their bowl game. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not anticipating anything crazy. I think they've earned the number 1 spot right now. They are the best team in the country. But it's anybody's year. I cannot wait for this college football playoff. There are so many great teams, and there's so many teams that have looked great and then taken a loss you would never have expected. And this past weekend, Georgia went down for the second time. Ole Miss rolled them. You got Bama with 2 losses. It's going to be interesting. Miami with oh my God, Miami brutal loss over the weekend to Georgia Tech. That's why you got to love college football. It's just crazy. Saw up here earlier, by the way. Wicked saying you were a Webster Warrior. I didn't know if we had talked about that before or not, but yeah, man. Webster Warrior, Webster Schrader, class of 2015. My sister was a class of 2019. My dad went there as well, but he went back in the 80s when Thomas and Schrader were combined. And I think his senior year is when they split, but he was there back when it was combined. But yeah, whole family went through Schrader, man. The whole gamut. Yeah, what'd you say? You're 04? So what'd you say? You graduated in 05. All right, so you had me by a decade. And I saw somebody. Did I see somebody in here? Yeah, Kev Boyle, man. I got to know you, Kev. Kev graduated in Thomas in 2014, man. I got a ton of Thomas buddies that graduated in 2014 and 2015. My best buddy that I roomed with in college was Thomas class of 2015. I'm got a tons of buddies. I mean, the schools are, as you know, the schools are right there. If you don't, obviously, if you're not from the Webster area, Schrader and Thomas. So Webster's a big town. There's two schools, and both schools are on one side of the road. So you got Schrader on the one side of the road. You drive down the road, you pull left out of Schrader, you go down the road, you turn right, go down that road, boom, you're at Thomas. So both schools are within like a mile of each other, and they're both classes of like 300 in each senior class. No, I'm not class of 05, Wicked. I'm class of 2015. So you said 05. So you got me by a decade. Yeah, I'm 2015. I don't know if I'd know anybody from 05. Maybe a couple of my buddies' brothers, but even then, it's probably kind of pushing it a little bit. Yeah, that's crazy, Kev. Kev's saying I knew quite a few from Schrader as well. Baffles me you weren't one. But life does that sometimes. That's crazy. I cannot believe you're 2014. Let me know who you knew from Schrader. Anyone you knew well from Schrader in the class of 2014, 2015? I'll tell you if I knew him or not. But yeah, I got tons of buddies from the 2014 and 15 class of Thomas. There wasn't much of a rivalry there. Thomas was better than us at everything, including when I played lacrosse. So we never got too upset about it. Never got too into it because we knew they were going to beat our ass every year. Thomas's lacrosse team was 10 times better than ours. So many of my buddies went and played Division I from that team too, like crazy amount. My buddy Kevin Hill went and played for Penn State. Speaking to Penn State, he went and played for Penn State. Tons of great. I mean, we sucked. Oh my God, we were terrible. We were good enough to beat like really bad teams. We were just never good enough to beat decent teams. Kind of like Penn State that I was just referring to. Puka Nacua with another big catch. Like I said, every time I get something from Kyron, Puka matches them. They're going blow for blow here. Now Kyron's got the handoff. So right now in the fantasy realm, Kyron's got me 7, Puka's got 10. I need to make up like 11 points here ASAP. Raleigh's asking, do I know a Scheffler? I don't know if I know a Scheffler off the top of my head. Maybe. Not off the top of my head. Can't think of a Scheffler off the top of my head. Yeah, no, the football teams for both of us, Kev, were not the best. But great guy, Scott Duschel, the head coach of Thomas. So I knew Scott, Mr. Duschel, growing up forever. His son, Austin, I grew up with. He's a great dude. The programs, though, the football programs, I always felt like if the football programs combined, then they would be something. But I don't know. You would know it, Kevin. Like, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like in high school, Victor just got good at everything. Everything. Victor got incredible at football, at lacrosse, at hockey. It was unbelievable. I think it's just because Victor was one of those towns that kept growing with the mall. The area got incredibly nice. The school was huge. I love Victor's campus because it's got all the schools on one lot, which is I always liked because it's kind of like a college vibe. They just got so good at everything. Wicked saying, do I know Zach Zaccardo? No, but is his brother Steve? It's got to be. If he's a Thomas guy, it's got to be. Zach Zaccardo was a hell of a football player, right? Hell of a football player. I'm buddies with his brother Steve, who graduated in 2015 from Thomas. It's got to be his brother. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it is his brother. Yeah. So Zach was a hell of a football player, right? Was he a running back or I think he was a running back, was he not? His brother? Steve, such a great dude, though. All those boys. So that was the friend group that I hung out with. Steve's friend group is the friend group that I hung out with like senior year of high school because my best buddy Nels, that was all of his best buddies growing up. So all of his buddies, we all hung out junior, senior year of high school. And Steve was one of them. Steve's a great dude. I actually just saw, when's the last time I saw Steve at a wedding? A couple months ago. Still doing great. Just bought a house last time I talked to him. But if his brother's anything like Steve, he's got to be a great dude. It was a quarterback. That's right. Okay, so this is back. Yeah, this is back right before. So Schrader had won the state title right around this time, like early 2000s. And then Thomas won it, right? And so he was the quarterback. Yeah. No, see, this is everyone else listening right now who is not from the area is got to be like, what the hell are they talking about? This is such an accurate way to put this. Kevin's saying it. He's saying, bro, Victor felt like the Chiefs to the Bills. Dude, Victor out of nowhere. So the town of Victor in Rochester just got so good at everything. And lacrosse in particular, because like I said, that's the sport I played my whole life. Dude, Victor's lacrosse team, my senior year, I think their third string kids were all committed to Division I. Their entire starting roster, their entire starting lineup for lacrosse was all either high-end Division I commits or high-end Division II commits. I'm almost positive that 99% sure the entire starting lineup was high-end Division I commits. I think there might have been one or two high-end Division II, but regardless. All the way down to the dude filling up the water bottles on that team was committed to somewhere significant. It was crazy. Their football team was off the charts. Their hockey team was nuts. I don't know what the hell happened. It wasn't like that growing up, and then all of a sudden it was. See, Wicked, this is back in the day. He knows. Irondequoit was a powerhouse. Irondequoit was a powerhouse in lacrosse. Even when my dad, for a long time, like when my dad was growing up, Irondequoit was a powerhouse in the 80s. And they were also a powerhouse in the early 2000s, and they kind of fell down. We always had a pretty good rivalry with Irondequoit. Best way to describe our kind of lacrosse team when I was in high school was kind of like Irondequoit's. Wasn't good enough to beat like the Victors of the world, Penn Yan. Penn Yan was incredible. Pal Mac. Well, I mean, Section 5, it's just a hotbed for lacrosse. But Irondequoit, they were like the cream of the crop for a long time. Long time. But then Victor took over. I don't know what's up now. I don't know what the deal is now. My cousin just graduated. So my cousin played lax. He just graduated last year. So he was like my last link to the team. They did okay. I think Canandaigua's rolling now. I don't know who like the powerhouse is, but tell you what, it sure as hell wasn't us. I'll tell you that. We never won a sectional game. All right, with all that in mind, by the way, we're 5 minutes into the third quarter, and it's 10-6. Dolphins up, and the Rams are settling for a field goal once again. 52-yarder. The kick is up. The kick is good. So luckily for us, Rams have been dialed in the field goal department, but there was a false start penalty. False start. So now that 52-yarder becomes a 57-yarder, and I got a feeling I just jinxed him by saying he's been on the money. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I'm going to lose this damn fantasy game, too. Kyron Williams, man. I was really hoping for a Barry Sanders-like performance tonight. Oh my God, yeah. Silver Stacker saying Irondequoit had 2 guys go pro for lacrosse. Joe Walters from Irondequoit played pro for years. Yeah, so Joe Walters played for the Nighthawks. What'd I tell you? I told you I jinxed him. I would have bet my life he was going to miss that. So you had the 52-yarder. He nails it. False start penalty on the Rams. He misses it. I mean, you can't make it up. I knew it. I absolutely knew it. I knew it for a fact. Unbelievable. So I'm pretty sure, by the way, didn't Joe Walters played for the Nighthawks for a while? Did he not? Me and my dad used to go to Nighthawks games like crazy. Yep, here it is. I'm looking it up right now. Yep, Joe Walters. Yep, beast. So growing up, man, those Nighthawks teams were fun as hell to watch. So it looks like Joe Walters he's still running like training camps and stuff. He's still growing the game. God, he's still playing. How old is he? Oh my God, Wicked, you just gave me a crazy repressed memory. Oh my God. Tool time. Tool was the goalie, right? Wasn't Tool the goalie for the Nighthawks? What time is it? Tool time. Oh my God. I got to call my dad after this and do that with him. Oh my God. Dude, I haven't heard that in years, dude. Tool, dude. That is crazy. Oh my God. Oh my God, I haven't heard that in so long. That's like, you know how you have those memories you just forgot you even had? That is 1000% one of them. Oh my God. Yeah, me and my dad were there when they won the championship. When was it? Mid 20 teens. We went out on the field afterwards. It was amazing. Who else was on that team? By the way, I'm seeing here, man, we're going down a whole bunch of rabbit holes, but Silver Stacker saying TD Erlin, best face-off guy in lacrosse. Oh yeah. So TD Erlin graduated the year after me, I believe, 2016. He might be the greatest face-off man in the history of the game. He was also an incredible wrestler, and I think that had a lot to do with it. All my wrestling buddies wrestled TD. They were good buddies with him. Incredible wrestler. So TD Erlin went to Yale, I believe, right? Where'd he go? He went to Yale, did he not? I think he did. And then he got drafted to the PLL, which is where he's currently is. Yeah, so Yale. I think he went to Denver first, and then he went to Yale. It was the other way around. Yep. So we played against TD Erlin. I played against TD Erlin when he was at Victor. He was it Victor? Did you say Iran? What did you say? Irondequoit? No, it was Victor. It was Victor. Yeah. No, Victor. Yeah. So he was one of the guys. So he was one. Then there was a Jake Trimboli was on the team when I graduated. He went to Syracuse. That kid was scoring like 6 points a game, man, or 6 goals a game. He was unreal. But TD Erling, short list of some of the best players I've ever played against. And I'm not kidding you. I think he goes down. It's going to be tough to surpass him in terms of how unbelievable of a face-off man he was. Jamie Trimboli, that's what it was. Jamie Trimboli. Yeah, he was a stud, man. I know he went to Cuse. Yeah, they had some studs, dude. I can't get over that tool time thing. That is so funny. I haven't heard that in forever. Those Nighthawks games, man, and Buffalo people know it. Bandits games too, and the Bills or the Nighthawks Bandits rivalry. I mean, you think low key? I'm not kidding you. Like, you think Bills Chiefs gets crazy? You think Bills Dolphins gets crazy, dude? Those Nighthawks Bandits games back in the day, like my dad was like low key scared to bring me to those. That shit would get nuts at the Blue Cross Arena, and there wasn't an empty seat in the house. I mean, this place would just go insane. These games were unreal. In fact, back in the day, funny enough, when I was playing youth lax, we had like, you know how like they'll have kids go out and do stuff on the field, like during games and stuff, like they'll play pickup games. We played pickup on the turf at the Blue Cross one of the years, which was so cool. I'll never forget that. But we went to more Nighthawks games than we missed. I mean, we went to a ton of Nighthawks games every year. They were a ball, man. God, I would love to go back to one of these years when I'm back home. It's been so long since I've been. But they're a ball. And I'm sure a lot of you in here, you've probably been to Bandits games. Equally as fun, man. They're just a ball. So TD Erlin's brother, he played goalie. Then there was what's his face? Bradley. No. Oh my God. I think the Rams are officially cooked. Rams down to the 1 yard line. That's who it is, Silver. That's who I'm thinking of. Blaze Reardon. Blaze Reardon, baby. Legend. So Blaze Reardon, right? Fairport. Then he goes to Albany. And remember he scored the full field goal at Albany? He went coast to coast. Now, Blaze Reardon probably weighed 260 pounds. Goalie. Legend. Like, dude, kid was a stud. One of the best goalies in Section 5 history. Then went to Albany, was a stud there, and I'll never forget him, man. He went coast to coast, went from his crease to the following crease and scored. Insane. I still remember it to this day. He was a stud. That's why you read my mind. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, so I played a ton of box growing up. Wicked, a ton. The box over at the Webster Rec Center. That's probably where you played, I'm guessing. That's probably where you played. Webster Rec Center? Spent many a nights at the Webster Rec Center playing box lax. And they cleaned it up towards the end of my time in high school. Added a scoreboard. They re-turfed it, man. If you haven't been over there in a while, you should go check it out, man. They really spruced it up. But, man, box lacrosse was the best. The best. Because I played attack, so I wasn't all about running up and down the field. And when you get into that condensed area, man. Yeah, so remember it used to be, dude, yeah, it literally used to be, instead of turf, it was literally like, the best way to describe it would be like 3D printed concrete. It was green, like 3D printed concrete with little holes in it, right? Like a million little perforations in it. It was literally a hard surface. It was crazy. I cannot believe we used to play on that. And then I remember it was a huge thing growing up, but they finally got the turf as Tyreek Hill gets in the end zone. And I think these Rams are cooked, folks. Son of a gun. Man, the Rams just played like ass. Ooh, Frank's coming in. He's saying, can you mail me a garbage plate to NC? Well, for starters, they don't have garbage plates in North Carolina. Can you mail me one? Someone mail me one. Mail me a Charlie's garbage plate, please. But I'm loving the little country sweet sauce. That's a hidden gem. The country sweet sauce is a hidden gem. Not everybody knows about the country sweet, baby. Country sweet's delish. It's like literally, it's like liquid gold. I don't even know, how would you even describe it? It's like a mixture of barbecue sauce and honey. E-Hot's wicked, man. Wicked. E-Hot's right across from Lowe's Theater on a late night. 3 a.m., baby. There was not a single bit of flavor in the E-Hot's garbage plate, but when you were there, you didn't care about the flavor, and I think you know why. You were never at E-Hot's. You were never at E-Hot's during the daytime. I'll just say that. You were never hanging out at E-Hot's when the sun was up. Yep, AMF Bowling Alley was right there, man. A little bit of everything. The pizza logs, dude. Yeah, I think people don't know what pizza logs are outside of Buffalo. Do you know that? Pizza logs, right? Rochester and Buffalo. I don't think they have pizza logs like anywhere else outside of the country. By the way, quick reminder of my friends over at BetUS. I saw someone earlier say that they were seeing 2.5 on the line for the Bills Chiefs this upcoming weekend. I've seen 2.5 elsewhere, but no need to take the 2.5 when you can take the 1 right now on BetUS. The Bills right now 1-point favorite on BetUS. I've seen them as much as a 2.5-point favorite on other books. Don't touch it. Why take the 2.5 when you could take the 1? And I think that 1 is running out quick because this was the +1 for the Chiefs was +115 not all that long ago. It's now +105. So the number is going to move. If you want to get in on the Bills -1, I'd get in on it ASAP. If you're going to do it with the YouTube 150 promo code on BetUS. It'll get you a 150% sign up bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit, 125% on your next 2 after that. Yeah, EHOTS. Kev knows all about EHOTS. So EHOTS was like, that was just a late night. Oh, you had to go there late night because it was the only place that was open. There's nothing else open. But my favorite is Charlie's, the Charlie Rydell's. Their garbage plate, undisputed GOAT in my opinion. They also have some of the best cheeseburgers in the world. Now, Bill Gray's, of course, they claim to have the world's greatest cheeseburger, but I would take Charlie's any day, especially the garbage plate. Man, Cody's hating on Dogtown. Man, I love Dogtown. Dogtown, downtown Rochester. I love Dogtown. What don't you like about it? Everyone I know loves Dogtown. I haven't really heard anybody get in on Dogtown like that. I just think Dogtown's got great food. First of all, the hot dogs are insane. They got like 30 different types of hot dogs. Oh, Wicked's asking what the Bill Gray's commercial is. Gimme, Bill Gray's. That's what it was. You were close. He goes, gotta love them Bill Gray's. No, gimme, Bill Gray's. That's what it was. Bill Gray's is still kicking, man. Bill Gray's, they got a bunch of Bill Gray's in Rochester. They got one. So I grew up on the like Webster Penfield border. So they had one in Panorama Plaza in Penfield. Then they still do. It's still there. And then they have one that's still there over in the Webster Plaza where like BJ's is, where the public library is. Tom Wall's was phenomenal and they shut down. Tom Wall's got shut down. There used to be a Tom Wall's on Empire Boulevard right next to Dunkin' Donuts, and they shut it down. Tom Wall's used to give you the food in a cardboard classic car. So you walk into Tom Wall's and all the decorations were like vintage cars, and then they would serve the food. The kids' meals would come in these cardboard, 3D printed out cardboard cars. And they had Tom Wall's were all over Rochester, and they shut down. And that was forever ago. They shut down when I was a kid. There might still be one or two, maybe. You'd have to let me know. I don't know. There might be. But the one that was right near my house got shut down when I was a kid. But I loved it. So Tom Wall's and Bill Gray's, though, they were like big competitors. They were like the exact same thing. They were like the exact same concept. But Charlie's was always my favorite. And the Charlie's that was there growing up has always been there. And then Bill Gray's collabed with Abbott's. So Abbott's is inside of all the Bill Gray's too, which is like, man, if you're from Rochester, that's just killing 2 birds with 1 stone there. You get the Bill Gray's burger, and then you get the Abbott's vanilla almond. Oh my God. You can put down like 3,500 calories in 20 minutes sleeping on there. Or stepping into there. Dude, Salvatore's is great. I freaking love Salvatore's, Cody. Salvatore's is, I just had Salvatore's a couple weeks ago when I was home visiting my parents. What game was that? The Titans game. So whenever that was, 3-4 weeks ago. Salvatore's is awesome. They do have a good plate too. Their wings aren't my favorite. They're good. They're not the best. Their pizza though, I really do like their pizza. Oh, Cooper Kupp one-handed snag. The Rams got to score here to keep this competitive because it just feels like the wheels fall off every time they get something going. Salvatores.com. Hank's Ice Cream. Yeah, so Hank's is now Pub 235. So Hank's was this big like burger and ice cream joint that was down the road from Schrader going into the village of Webster. It's called Pub 235 now, Wicked. I don't know how long you haven't been in Rochester for. But Pub 235, low-key, one of my favorite restaurants. I love it there. Their food's incredible. But that's what the old Hank's used to be. Was it just ice cream? I don't remember Hank's just being ice cream. I believe you, though. I feel like it was too big to just be ice cream. That place was huge. Right behind Kittleburgers. So now that's Pub 235. Great food. I go there all the time when I'm home. Oh, Isaiah's saying the original Tom Walls is still in Avon. All right, so there's still one. So they got the OG Tom Walls is still banging. I might have to go out there one of these times at Avon and check out Tom Walls, man. That would bring back some crazy memories. I haven't been to Tom Walls in like a decade. Oh, Barry's Irish Pub closed. The one on the corner there? The one on the corner in the Village? Right next to where the little water fountain thing is? No kidding. Right across from the Coach, right? I didn't know that. I figured I feel like my parents would have told me that. We got family friends that hang out there all the time that live like right over there. Did they shut down because of like financial stuff, or did they just say we're kind of had enough? COVID, maybe. Cool spot in there. I've been in there a bunch. Really felt like you were in Ireland when you walked in there. Real Irish vibes, which I love. Ooh, they got into the Irish cream business. All right, so they're stepping up in the world. I can't knock them on that. I love that. All right, can Kyron Williams get in the damn end zone here? Can they just get in the end zone in general? For the love of God. Which one's berries? Kev's bringing up berries. I don't know if I know berries. I don't know if I know berries. By the way, everyone who's not from Rochester who's tuning, who's still around, bravo! You're getting like a tour. You're getting like the tourist, or the virtual tour of Rochester, courtesy of me, Kev, Wicked, Silver, Isaiah, the whole crew. All right, Puka's just cooking my ass now, man. I'm screwed. I got a 2% chance to win now. He's just cooking my ass. Kyron, baby, you sold me. You sold me good. But if he gets in the end zone here, that could turn the tide completely. He's got to make it happen now. Oh, Barry's paw. Oh, we were just talking about that. I'm an idiot. No, wait. I wasn't talking to you, Silver. Who was I? Wait, was I? I was. Yeah. What am I doing? Oh, Kev. It's because Kev said. I thought Kev was talking about something else. My bad, Kev. So you're talking about the same berries. Yeah, bigger and better things. The Irish cream, and I'm a big fan of the Irish cream, man. Oh, especially around Christmas, little Irish cream in the in Jameson. Oh my God, I might have to do a couple of those for Thanksgiving coming up. Wait, is Barry's Irish Cream the same place that sells it out of the distillery there? But why do I feel like I've had it? I feel like I've had to have had this. Let me see. Son of a... I'm telling you, they're going to have to settle for a field goal again here, it feels like. All right, I've definitely had the Barry's Irish Cream. So I didn't realize that was the same berries, though. I never put two and two together. C-Dots from the Chili area. Never spent much time out in Chili. I never had like a reason to go out there. We never played them in sports, really. Wicked's bringing up Flaherty's. Yeah, so Flaherty's is in the same parking lot as the Wegmans that I worked at for like a decade. I worked at the Bayview Wegmans forever, and they share the same parking lot. So it's Flaherty's, Wegmans, Applebee's, Citizens Bank. Flags is good. I haven't been there in a long time either. Dude, Stafford, man. See, this is the problem. Like, this whole line is getting chewed. I mean, this whole line is getting destroyed. Destroyed. Isaiah saying, you ever have any good sports games in Henrietta? Not really. We played Rush every now and then. It's not in Henrietta, but I played a lot of lacrosse at TSE. I don't think that's not in Henrietta. That's in Total Sports Experience, TSE. That might be the Chili area, actually. Is that Chili? I don't know. Silver's asking how old my dad is. How old is he this year? Hold on, let me think about it. I think he's either 55 or 56. I think my dad was Schrader class or Webster class of 80. He might have been class of like 85, 86. Right around there. But yeah, no, he's like 50. I think he turned 50, either 55 or 56 in September. Yeah, no, Miami's playing with desperation, but I understand that the desperation's there. But even if they win, they have an 8% chance to make the playoffs. I would argue that there's more desperation for the Rams because the Rams are actually playing to win a division here. The Dolphins are playing for a Powerball ticket type chance to make the playoffs. Yeah, I would have figured at the very least the desperation would be somewhat there for the Rams. If they lose tonight, they're tied for last place again in the division. The difference between a loss and a win tonight for the Rams is tied for first place or a half game back out of the NFC West lead. Oh my God. Fantasy, man. It's going to be the death of me. I'm telling you what. I just feel like every week I'm always getting everybody's best crack. Every week I'm just always getting some BS, man. This week it was Joe Burrow. Like he had 15 points in the third quarter. That game was 21-7 and you blinked and it's like, oh my God, 35-34. The guy's got 42 fantasy points on me. All right, here comes the Rams field goal attempt. I mean, this game, folks, I keep forgetting I even have it on over here. What a joke of a Monday Night Football game this has been. 53-yard attempt. Missed the last one, by the way. Every one of these attempts has been 50-plus, too. They're not even getting them in a decent territory. See what he's got here. He missed the last one. Looks like he's got this one. Yep. All right. So it's a one-score game again. I don't anticipate the Rams getting into the end zone, though, the way I've been watching it. Oh, we're talking about friendlies. Oh, they shut down most of the friendlies, too. So there was a friendlies in like every town in Rochester. Now there's only like one friendlies left in Rochester. But my best buddy that I was talking to you about earlier, that's from Thomas. He goes to all the Dave Matthews shows with me, so we travel all around, and we found a friendlies in like deep in a random part of Massachusetts, and we went there. It was probably 2 years ago, and we literally ordered like we were like we were 10 years old again. We got like the blue Raz drink. Remember the blue Raz drink with the bendy straw that changed colors and the gigantic mug? We got that. We got the Frenzy, which is like the Friendlies version of the McFlurry. We got that. The Patty Melt. Dude, Friendlies was great. They all shut down like all at the same time. And there was one in like right down the road in Webster that we would go to all the time. That's another local joint, by the way, which I love. That's I think that's currently a Mark's Pizzeria. Mark's Pizzeria. Love Mark's. Mark's was a staple growing up. If you went to a kid's birthday party, there was probably a 90% chance there was Mark's Pizza there. Kev's saying the Friendlies went, is that right? Friendlies went down for health code stuff, huh? No kidding. That was good to me. I liked it. Richie's saying, if Bills struggle against Rams, I'll lose it. I mean, there's no excuse if they don't get after Stafford 15 times in that game. The turning point in this game was the fumble or the pick that they immediately fumbled away. That was the Oh, are they really going to call pass interference on that? Yeah, Rams are screwed, man. Personal foul. I just want something to root for at this point, man. This game has just blown. C. Dot saying, I'll be in Rochester next week. I can't wait to eat all the good food spots. Being in the South sucks sometimes. Yeah, where in the South are you at, though, man? Because there's some damn good food in the South. Man, oh man, is there some good food in the South. Nothing quite like, though, the spots you grew up on. You know what I mean? Those always hit a little bit different. But South's got some good food. Where are you at? Dallas? Yeah, I can see why you're sick of it. I do like Dallas a lot, though. I thought Austin was a little overrated. I went out there for the first time a couple of years ago. Everybody was hyping up Austin. It's okay. I didn't love it. Houston was probably my favorite of the three, but Dallas was super cool. I enjoyed Dallas. Did the tour of Jerry World, which of course now is very controversial because the players apparently hate it. How about that thing? How about that whole thing the other day? By the way, with the sun blinding CeeDee Lamb on a would-be touchdown. How about the Cowboys? How bad is Dallas? I mean, they're always that level of bad, like I was talking about earlier with the Dolphins and Penn State, where they're going to lose to the Niners of the world and the Bills of the world and the Chiefs of the world. They're always going to lose those games, but now they're just bad. And it wasn't just because Dak went down either. Like, they would have lost that game to Philly probably a little more respectably, but probably just as bad. They lost 34-6. I would guess if Dak was playing, the game might have been 34-16. I mean, they're terrible. They're awful. And it's just the struggle has to be, if you're a Cowboys fan, like, imagine if Jerry Jones owned the Bills. Like, you got to feel helpless. You're only going to be able to do as much as your owner is willing to do, and they're not willing to do the things that seem necessary to catch up to where everyone else is at in this league right now. And this is as bad of a point that Dallas has been at probably in my lifetime. They've always been in that spot where they struggle to get over the hump, but this feels like it's a whole other level. It kind of feels now where they're at the point where it's trending way further down than it's trending up. They've always been kind of just riding the wave of the middle. It feels like it's taken a sharp market turn down. And I don't know if they pay Micah Parsons, they're going to have their entire cap allotment invested into like 3 or 4 guys. They're going to run out of money. And that's why right now, I mean, they already have a ton of money tied in CD, ton of money tied in Dak. Micah Parsons is going to reset the market if they sign him. I don't even know if they can sign him. If they're smart, this long-haired dude for the Rams, what's his name? He should have 7 picks tonight. Oh, and he already had the first pick. Oh my God, that was a pick 6 if he kept his feet. Damn. Anyway, if they pay what I would do is I would trade Parsons. They have got to get some assets. And the reason I would trade him is because if you don't, you have to pay him. And I just think that they're going to be so cap strapped after that. They were already at a point where they weren't willing to pay Derrick Henry. I mean, what's the point going to be at where they have another, $30 million a year guy, $40 million, whatever. What's the market at right now for DNs? Yeah. So Bosa's leading the way at 34 million. So you add another 34 million right now. Let's see what Dallas's cap situation looks like. So currently right now for 2025, oh my God. So going into 2025, right now, 45% of Dallas's cap, wow. 45% of Dallas's cap in 2025. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb. Nearly half of their entire cap allotment to a quarterback that I think's a fringe top 10 quarterback and a receiver. And that's no diss on CeeDee Lamb. He's one of the best, but I mean, Dak's not Allen, Mahomes, Lamar, and he's making more than any of them. I mean, that's crazy. And as it stands right now, Micah Parsons hasn't signed his next deal, and he's already he's the third biggest cap hit on the team next year, and that's without the resign. That's without the second contract. So you have to factor if Bosa's making $34 million right now, Parsons is set to make 21. He'll guaranteed to pass Bosa. So what do you think he'll get? 35, 36? So that'll take his cap hit up to about 10% of their cap. So they'll have just under 60% of their cap hit, or 60% of their cap devoted to three guys. The same three guys that are currently on a team right now that is playing some of the worst football in the NFL. Yeah, and CDOT's mentioning, like Trayvon Diggs is up there. They're going to probably lose him. I think Zach Martin's going to retire. This team's in bad shape. And I don't see it turning around anytime soon. I honest to God, I think I see it getting worse before it gets better anytime soon. And they don't draft particularly well either. All right. Sack on Tua. I mean, this defense for the Rams has stepped up. 17 points midway through or going into the 12-minute mark of the fourth quarter. They've sacked them numerous times, picked them off, forced a fumble. This offense has done nothing. And this is against the Dolphins defense that is no business shutting down weapons like Kyron, Puka, and Cooper Kupp. And this is crazy. Stafford has been under pressure every snap tonight. Yeah, I mean, think about the moves Dallas makes, right? They give up. They got less in return for Amari Cooper that they spent on who the hell was the wide receiver they got the other day? What's the flag here? Because Tua just got 22 yards on a dump off. What's the flag? Please be holding. Flag is in the secondary. That's going to be a first down. Yeah, this game's over. Cooked. Yeah, Jonathan Mingo. Thanks, guys. Yeah, so they spent more at the trade deadline for Jonathan Mingo in a losing season than they got in return for Amari Cooper. And I don't know what they're doing half the time. Well, I think we just saw the fork get stuck into the LA Rams tonight, folks, and I'm not sure they're going to get out of here with a touchdown. I mean, this is crazy. What an awful ass game this has been. I heard a cat. There he is. Hey, buddy. My cats have been bums today, just passed out all day. Now he's up and wants attention. How about Mike Williams? Speaking of these like random trade these trade deadline acquisitions, does nothing with the Jets. Nothing. Right? Rodgers wants him gone. Not good enough, right? Can't get him involved. Instantly goes to the Steelers and scores the game-winning touchdown against the 7-2 Commanders. Unbelievable, isn't it? Just chef's kiss poetic. Incredible. Yeah, Jake's bringing it up. MVS putting up Calvin Johnson numbers with the Saints over the weekend. We couldn't find a way to do anything with him. I don't know. Sometimes it's just your day, I guess. Wow, Tua just ran a backwards. He just pitched the ball behind his back. It looked cool. Didn't gain a yard. Man, Rams offense let them down tonight. Let's see. Cody's saying, do you like bringing in Tyrell Dotson? Yeah. So the Seahawks today just waived Tyrell Dotson. I don't know. I could see the Bills bringing Tyrell Dotson back. What do we got? Third down here, 3rd and 9. So they're going to settle for a field goal, but now we're at a 2-possession game here. I do not know where I see I do not know where I see 2 possessions worth of points coming for the Rams. Well, the thing you have to wonder is with Dotson, like what's the deal with Milano? Because if Milano's going to be ready to go for the Niners game, I don't know if you're going to need Tyrell Dotson, right? Maybe if you had known that he wasn't going to be coming back, maybe you look into it. Maybe they still do, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be necessary right now for the Bills, as Dolphins just put another 3 on the board, 20-9 Dolphins in one of the worst games I've ever watched. But you did have to put Spector on the IR. So I guess for depth, I could see it depending on what it would take. What's his base salary? Like, was it like $2 million? So right here, according to fieldgoals.com, if he is not claimed off waivers tomorrow, the Seahawks are on the hook for all $4 million. So they already paid him $1.1 million. So if someone wants to take him on, if someone wants to take him off waivers, by the end of the day tomorrow, they'd have to pay him $4 million. If not, the Seahawks would have to fit the bill. So I guess if he clears waivers, but then I don't know. So right now, so what are the Bills like? They're at the bottom of the waiver order right now, and I don't think they'd want to. They don't want to latch on to that extra $3 million that he's owed from the contract. So I guess if he clears waivers, then maybe I could see it happen. Wednesday, yeah, why not? At that point, if the Seahawks are on the hook and he wants to come back, by all means, because you had to put Balen Spector on IR. You are getting Milano back, but a familiar face, who I thought was playing. I don't know. I don't know what was the reason why they cut him. He started every game this season and had 71 tackles. What the hell happened? That's odd. That's odd, is it not? Yeah, guys. Yeah, we don't even have the money to pick him up on the waivers. No, what do the Bills have? $2 million to work with, something like that. So no, he obviously if he clears the waivers, then there could be potential there. Why wouldn't he want to come back? Right? 8-2, probably rotate in a bit until Milano's fully ready to rock, I guess. It wouldn't shock me, but obviously Wednesday, I guess we'll find that out. But Dorian Williams has been playing well this year. And then you're getting Milano back. So we'll see. Once again, though, McDermott loves his familiar faces, and I feel like you wouldn't mind having that depth piece back for the end of the year here. Yeah, like you're saying, that's the key. Like you're saying here, if you run into health problems, it's a good piece to have. I agree, because you know that Milano and Bernard, unfortunately, that's been the only issue with those two guys. Everything else has been absolutely terrific. But the injury situation is something you can never rule out with those two. So going into the playoffs, I mean, obviously you'd much rather have a guy like Tyrell Dotson than have to call AJ Klein off the couch again. You know what I mean? All right, Rams. It's touchdown or bust here, folks. No touchdown here. We might as well shut her down. At the very least, a field goal. I mean, at the very least. No points here. She's over with. Feels like it's over right now. Yeah, I mean, linebacker was the primary reason, in my opinion, that the game was so mismatched on the defensive side of things for the Bills in the divisional last year against the Chiefs. Travis Kelce hadn't had a game like that all year. And all of a sudden, he was the biggest playmaker in the game for the Chiefs, the difference maker for the Chiefs offensively. And I that's why I said in the previous stream before this, that right there, just the addition of Milano alone for that factor is so much different than what they were in last year. You cannot underestimate how big of a difference that is. And even last year, it's just I look at that game, and if you got Bernard in there, Milano in there, you don't even need both. One in there, I just think it's that much more of a difference in keeping KC from going up and down the field the way that they did. I mean, Josh Allen played terrific in that game against that defense that pretty much won them the Super Bowl last year. But the Chiefs offense looked a lot like it does right now last year. It was very similar towards the end of the year, as you remember. And then all of a sudden they got into the playoffs. And one of the games against the Bills, of course, that was a game where all of a sudden the lights turned back on for Kelce. It looked like he was cooked and had a lot to do with how depleted that Bills defense was in that game. Going back and looking here. Yeah, I mean, it just would have been, to me, it would have just been such a difference. And well, hopefully this year, that difference, we will have that difference on the field. We will have that difference. Lev Robster saying, what is the worst game in recent memory and why is it this? Dolphins suck and Rams are overhyped. Yeah, this is terrible. This is awful. Feels like when the games are good, they're really good. When they're bad, I mean, they're bad. Trying to think of a game this year that I watched that was super bad. Of course, I can't forget. It always feels like in the moment, like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. This is up there. I mean, this is god awful. There goes Puka again, man. Kyron didn't even show up for me tonight. He hasn't had less than 10 points in fantasy all year long, and he's got 9 right now. Man, I can't catch a break in the fantasy world. Yeah, Walter's saying, I know it. I know that's what's so scary about the Chiefs. That's why I hated the signing of D-Hop for them. Not anything to do with what they're doing right now, but it's the playoffs. Because as soon as you get into the playoffs, all these guys seem to turn it on. Kelce didn't do anything towards the end of last year. It seemed like he was a non-factor, and then all throughout the playoffs, especially against the Bills, just boom, there he is, back to his old self. And then it kind of felt like that again this year, right? And then the last week against the Bucs, career high in catches. He had 15 catches. Throw. All right, so out of nowhere, with 7 minutes left, the Rams are now on, the 10-yard line? Right at the 10-yard line of the Dolphins. All 3 timeouts, 7 minutes left. The touchdown here, we're back in business. Field goal, I'm not feeling great about. I got a feeling that it could be 4-down territory for McVay, knowing how tough it's been for them to get into scoring territory. I feel like you got to have a touchdown here. So right on the 10-yard line, 2nd and goal. Stafford in the gun. 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Kyron in the backfield, motions out. Takes the snap, throws, caught. 6-yard gain. 3rd and goal from the 4. This is definitely going to be 4-down territory for McVay. I can feel it. They don't get in here. Oh my God, the center has one of those Guardian caps on for the Rams. I just noticed that one. Or what was it, the center? No, somebody did. That was huge, though. It looked huge because it wasn't white. I haven't seen like a colored one yet. Man, Stafford throws it out of bounds. And now it's 4th and goal. And they're going to take the field goal. Oh my God, dude. They're on the 4-yard line and they got nothing. Oh my God, he had Kyron Williams wide open. I don't even, that might have been where he was trying to go. He got hit on it. Oh, he had him. That would have been the difference. No, he didn't even get hit. What the hell was that? Oh, he had Kyron for the touchdown. That could have been the difference. Oh, man. Field goal's up and good. 6.5 left, 20-12. Well, we've come this far. And missed field goal is looking bad right now, too. They would be able to win it on a touchdown. Now they need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Ooh, Phil's winning his fantasy game now by 0.4. Because of Puka or Kyron? Who did you have? Man, this game has sucked. Oh, you had Puka. Yeah, that big catch there to get him down there probably sealed it for you, huh? You know what I can't get over still is last night the Lions winning that game. How crazy was it? You know, the last time, by the way, a team had won on the road with their quarterback throwing 5 picks? Yep, you guessed it. Tony Romo, 2007. Cowboys, Bills in that primetime game. That's how long it had been, though. That was just an insane, insane game. And Stafford had what? He had thrown, I think, 4 combined all year. I mean, he had a couple of games with like perfect passer ratings. Like he wasn't even throwing incompletions. And it just came out of nowhere and they still won the damn game. All right, is the Tua turnover coming here that's going to flip this game? Oh, Newspeak was saying he was at that Cowboys game. I'll never forget that one. Oh my God. I was only 10 years old at the time. I can still remember it. That game, the Patriots primetime game, where they had it and lost it. The Browns primetime game, I believe one of them was, right? Where they wore the old AFL unis. Was it the Browns? They had a couple of, like, it was so rare to have a primetime game back then. And then they had a few, and they were always heartbreaking losses. Yeah, like Hillslayer's saying, like back in his college days, yeah, it was a huge deal. The Bills were never on primetime. You would get one. It felt like the election. Maybe you'd get one every 4 years. All right. Rams have got to get a stop. 6.5 left. Dolphins with the ball. Out of all the things that you could have told me would have happened tonight, or would have told me that would happen tonight, the last I would have guessed is the Rams not getting in the end zone. I can't get over this. Dolphins 3-game losing streak have led or tied in the 4th quarter of each. So the Rams got them right where they want them. Right? 2nd and 5. And they keep handing it off. 2-yard loss. Could be a quick 3-and-out here. Could be a 3-and-out here. Got to hold him here. This would be big. I think Stafford has like the second most come from behind victories when trailing in the 4th. So they got him right where they want him. You got to stop him right here. Here we go. Snap, 3rd and 6. Tua's got time, rolls to the right. Now he's under pressure, throws, caught, first down. OBJ. They didn't even guard him. They didn't even guard him. I mean, he's just wide open. Oh, that was big. That was big. Freaking OBJ. Oh, my God. Now they're in field goal range. Tua with a nice 15-yard ball. And I think that might do it. Oh, they had him where they wanted him, man. They had him. What's the Dolphins schedule looking like? They got some winnable games coming up. Raiders, Patriots, Packers game will be tough. But then it's the Jets. I mean, I don't know. They're cooked to me, and they're cooked regardless of whatever the hell happens tonight. Because I think the Packers game's an L, Texans game's an L, Niners game's an L. But they do have some winnable games. You know, Raiders, Patriots, Jets twice, Browns. But like I said, if they win this game, which they're going to, 8% chance to make it, so whatever. They'd have to literally have an act of God happen in order for them to get in. And even if they do get in, it's a first-round exit anyway, so whatever. Well, we're going to have to bank on a missed field goal, it looks like here. Unless they get a first down, then it's over. Man, not a touchdown scored is crazy to me. We had absolutely nothing to be excited about in this game other than that sequence of a couple of turnovers there. God. Boring. Good for you guys for hanging out, man. This is crazy. All right, 3rd and 6. The only prayer now is to stop here and then bank on a missed field goal, I guess. Look at that. The Rams are 1 of 10 on 3rd down. Throw out Tyreek Hill. Doesn't get the first. It's going to be like just under a 50-yard field goal, I think. All right, 50 yards right on the dot. He's already 2 for 2 tonight, now to 50-yarder earlier. This is the only prayer. Snap good, hold good, kick up. Kick is good. Oh, all right. That is going to do it. Dolphins are going to win. Hey, good for them. Good for them. Clap it up for the Dolphins. A blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then, folks, don't they? We're going to wrap it up. Hey, on the way out the door, by the way, once again, lines are up for week 11 on BetUS, and the Bills 1-point favorite on BetUS right now. If you like the Bills, which you know we do, baby, get in on it on BetUS. All these other books I've checked have the Bills even more of a favorite than that, which is crazy. But if you like them, get in on the good number. That one's not going to last forever on BetUS, so take advantage of it right now. With the promo code YouTube150, that'll get you a 150% sign-up bonus, up to $2,000 on your first deposit, 125% bonus on your next two after that. Well, hey, I appreciate everyone hanging out tonight. It was fun. At least we got to hang out, talk some Rochester virtual tour, some high school memories, a little bit of everything in between. Thank God we did that, because anything but watching this game. Holy moly, this was a joke. This game absolutely sucked. But you guys, you totally don't suck. Much love for all of you who tuned in tonight. Appreciate you hanging out as always. We'll be back with you live later in the week. Rico will be on with you tomorrow and Wednesday. We'll hop on together at some point later in the week. And you already know the drill. It's pre and post game for the Chiefs. And I really hope Rico and I are dancing on Sunday afternoon, folks. I really, really hope we are. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait. Enjoy the rest of your week, folks. On the way out the door, if you could, like button if you could, subscribe button if you could, and YouTube 150 is the promo code on BetUS. 150% sign-up bonus, up to $2,000 on your first deposit. 125% bonus on your next two after that. Enjoy the rest of your night, folks. Hopefully it's better than this game was. Much love as always. I'll talk to you later in the week. And go Bills.